Yes, you guys, I'm extremely excited to have you. Happy New Year. And before we get started on this one, I'm going to tell you a quick little story. In 1909, an Italian immigrant named Victor Vito landed on American soil. Despite only having pennies to his name, Victor smoked a cigar to honor his pursuit of opportunity and success. Starting with that first cigar, a tradition was born. In the Vito family, cigars came to represent pride in accomplishments and optimism for the future, and they still do. More than a century later, Victor Vito's great-grandson Marco honors his heritage with Marco V cigars. Marco and his team's commitment to quality, flavor, and construction have established the company as a premier boutique cigar brand. Each roller, each person they have in the factory rolling these cigars, you guys, has a minimum of 15 years experience, so they can make sure and guarantee every single cigar is exactly what you bought and paid for. One of my favorite things, I got to hang out with Marco, and I got to hang out with his dad, and we got to talk cigars. And there's a quote right on his website, but he says this is like a real thing. This isn't just a cheesy sales spiel, you guys. Too often with mass manufactured cigars, you don't get what you pay for. Marco V cigars deliver a perfect smoke every time, and I can actually back that up. These guys have gone out of their way to keep their brand at a good value, at a good price, without compromising quality. So we are proud to announce they are the official cigar of the Jared Singer Extravaganza podcast. Go to marcovcigars.com and check those guys out now. We're also excited to announce that we have another sponsor on tap, you guys. Tone Vault Audio. Okay, Tone Vault Audio and Media was formed as a recording studio business by musicians in active gigging bands doing work over the years in multiple facilities, as well as in a mobile fashion, simultaneously while playing in live gigging bands. Tone Vault staff has the experience to know why quality, performance, and longevity of cables is the most important thing, as well as the demands needed for a great go-to top-of-the-line product for all of your professional project needs, as well as live music applications. We are proud to announce Jared Singer Extravaganza has partnered with Tone Vault Media. They're rewiring our entire studio, and we have a 15% discount for y'all, okay? These are premium boutique hand-wired, or let me rephrase, hand-soldered cables, okay? Premium, top-of-the-line, hand-soldered cables, boutique company, right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I want you guys to go to www.tone-vault.com/JSE, and you can use the promo code SINGER, or sorry, let me rephrase this, the promo code 15SINGER, that's 15SINGER, and you guys can get 15% off the Tone Vault products. So again, go to www.tone-vault.com/JSE and put in your promo code 15SINGER. I think the most we've ever had was we averaged like 18 minutes. And I think the most we've ever had was 2 Welcome to the podcast, my dude. We are live.
Dude. Oh, sweet.
Welcome,
Appreciate
sir.
you. Thanks for having me, man.
Mr. Seeley.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I don't want to make like a mark.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't think that'll fit, will it? Oh, it's just big enough for a coffee cup?
It's
No,
like a
dude.
premium cup that fits all fish.
Fucking Zach Wood made me these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he brought him. He's the first guest on the new version of the podcast, which is this version. He was guest number 1.
So does that mean like, is that with the logo switch? Because I dig the logo. I like it. It's like Miami. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy instead of frigid cold.
So that's literally when we launched the video. So the very, very first version of the podcast was like 3-4 years ago, and we did a handful of episodes, and then they never actually aired.
Wow, sweet some B-side stuff we should put out. That was fun.
That's just Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so we did an audio version, and that just never. We never did anything with that. We got way too drunk every single episode, and then they were all death metal guests, and I'm not even that into death metal, and I was like, this isn't the death metal podcast, but
yeah, that sounds like the whole entire experience exactly. That's pretty powerful.
with Vischetti. So for people that don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do, but for people that don't know, just briefly tell people who you are.
Sure. So Matt Seeley, basically, I came out of the Northland, Brainerd Lakes area, and I always played in bands and wanted to do music stuff. And I had a high school teacher say you could record, like you could go to school for recording, and yet you can do that and try to make money. And so I came to the cities and I did that, and I, of course, started new bands and things like that. And I realized that with the music I like and recording in general, it's really, really difficult to make money. So I just kind of didn't focus on the income side, and instead I eventually basically transferred the mindset of the company towards e-com sales, and that's where Tone Vault was born as far as the audio product side. But I mean, I love music, so been playing in bands and recording is where I get time, and that's really in a nutshell my experience as far as music and what I'm after on a typical day.
That's awesome. Did you bring notes?
Yeah, that's just references because
I think you're the first guy who's ever brought notes. It's so professional.
It's
so professional of you.
Trying to shake so many, just run so many different things. It's plus, my personal side, like I got an awesome, amazing wife and a son, so it's to try to keep it all still moving forward. It's sometimes you need that. The years of death metal and headbanging and excessive professional whiskey drinking, I think too, just my brain cells don't work anymore, so I need a reference sheet. So like if we start talking about somebody that's kind of important, I'm like, oh shit, what was that dude's name? So
what's on there? Oh
man, I got bands I worked with, I got bands that I'm endorsing, I got for this
maybe we should start there. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because you mentioned that pretty quickly too when you're telling people what's going on. So
like endorsements?
How'd you get into the Tone Vault deal? Like where did the first idea of that start when you first were like, I'm gonna make cables and sell them?
Well, I just didn't have time to record, with a family and just getting older and taking on more responsibilities. I just didn't have time to do the hourly gig, recording people.
It really is just that simple.
Well, for the inspiration to shift, the whole company aspect. Like, for example, I love making cables. I love soldering myself. I always wanted to do my own custom shit and then sell it. I thought it'd be cool to do different colors with like custom logos for each, customer, or like if they, like Winterland, I did a lot of work. I still do a lot of like ad work out of there and whatnot. If they want Winterland cables, I was thinking I could make those for them, kind of a business. But that takes a lot of time, you know. And so it always goes back to that. And so I decided, well, shit, if I could do this and find a manufacturer to my specs through my experience running the studio and having those standards, maybe I could make a side business out of this. And then I realized, well, I could do this for a lot less price for people. And then the wheels started turning. I'm like, well, okay, I'm recording less, so I'm taking, I'm not creating competition for the other local studios. I'm taking that away now. I'm helping them in that way. Now I'm going to go and create premium products at a cheaper price point than, like, say, your Mogami or Monster Cable or your Elite Series, whether it's Livewire or various other big companies. So I can eliminate competition and I can create better, cheaper quality products. So to me, it was just kind of a win-win, and I wanted to learn like the Amazon side of things. I wanted to learn the online e-com and marketing and all that stuff. So it was just an outlet for me to do so. What I didn't know is it takes more time than recording people.
Gotcha.
So it's slow, but it's fun.
Oh shit! Hold on. I think they're telling me something. I bet I fucked something up in the beginning. Everything seems fine now, but hold on. Yep. So we had music playing when we first came in.
Sweet. Was it good stuff?
It was my piece of shit song. That's fucked up. Sorry, guys.
The one you played me earlier?
Yeah.
Well, that was a cool song.
I mean, it's.
I dig it.
I'm almost annoyed by it at this point. It's been so long. Sorry, guys. There went all our listeners.
They're
Hilarious.
like, screw it.
That's hilarious. Well, welcome, guys. We're still here. We're still here. That's all right.
Take two.
Well, and here's the thing is, like, as soon as I said, explain to people who you are and what you do, I switched cams, and then that media shut off anyway. So it's not the end of the world. It was just that first few seconds where
hell yeah,
I gave you the cheers and I said, welcome, buddy.
Well, it's a cool setup. I dig it.
Yeah, thanks for coming
new
down,
for
man.
me.
Let me ask you, dude. So the birth of that idea came out of not being able to record anymore. You kind of mentioned when you were going to school, a teacher was like, oh, you could go to school for that and make money off that, which is kind of a possibility, but also kind of
Ignorance
humorous.
Is bliss.
Also kind of humorous. I mean, you could. I mean, I know guys that make money off doing that. But most of us spend more money than we could ever make doing this shit. So it's hard to be profitable, I guess.
It depends on your standards and your clientele, and your followers and your fans of your craft. I mean, for me, Own Vault, right? I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else or my standards are higher than they need to be, but like I just really like expensive shit. And so unfortunately, it's just a difficult situation to try to make money at if you can't invest 24/7 in it. I mean, the guys that are making money off of recording have been established for years, years and years and years, and have a great following and a loyal following, and they deserve all that, and they deserve every piece of the community's income, in my opinion. And why should I be competing with that? They should be able to thrive from the work they've put in. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just kind of a no-brainer to say, all right, you know what? I'll just record whenever I get time if that were to ever happen for the fun of it. But I'm not going to focus on that becoming my new income. I'm going to do a side gig of cables so that I can further help them already established people and businesses out. And I don't know.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You reached out, dude, and you were like, hey, man, let's get something figured out. So I appreciate what you're doing, man. I'm excited and fucking
happy to be here, man.
I'm looking forward to making my shit sound way fucking better. Because I got some premium cables, and then I got a patchwork of not so premium cables. So I'm excited to have you as a sponsor, dude. And we've talked a lot on the phone already. So it's not like we don't know each other. And we've known each other from over the years, too. Because I almost auditioned for I Am Vengeance.
We were very close. We were very close to getting you on board to audition.
I was just never happy with what I was doing. There was just chunks it's not that I couldn't play it. It's just it didn't sound right when I was playing it. Like, it sounded fine on record when Rob was doing it, but when I was sitting there practicing and listening back, I was like, there's just something off.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. And then, it was just timing, at some point in time, it's just time to move on. It's like, dude, it's just something not, because it's so metal. It was just such a straight up metal band. And it's like, I don't know if I'm a metal drummer. I'm a rock drummer who plays like a metal drummer, but it's not.
You also write and have your own input, and that band probably wouldn't have been the best for you there. Or
it would have been perfect because I didn't have to
you
write
didn't have
anything.
To do the work.
Yeah, just fucking show up and do your job.
Yeah, that was my mindset. I'm like, guys, why do you want to have so much input, man? You don't have to do anything but just play and enjoy yourselves. No,
they didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, right. No, all joking aside, I wish that the first album would have been more of a group effort. I do feel like it was mostly myself, but I think it was just the way it worked out. But there's some things in the works for maybe a second, and I'm the goal is group effort, and so it's going to be really interesting to see, like, say I Am Vengeance album 2, what it is as a group. I don't know. I just think it'll be interesting.
Are you getting the whole lineup back together?
That's a good question. I mean, I know some that are committed, but I also know some that are on the fence. So it's hard to say. But I do know that it won't be of completion until there's a group effort. It's not going to be the Matt Seeley show again. At least that's my goal.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's all.
I don't know why I'm coughing so much.
Better not have COVID.
Oh, I don't think so. Just can't figure it out.
Happens to the best of us.
I think my viewers are equally confused.
So do we get to see them? Like,
you can read the comments over there.
Oh, sweet. No, like F you, Matt, yet.
Matt Squealy.
Yeah, I got that one over the years, man. Weirdly enough.
You love the squeals, the Zach Wild squeals.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I always remember like Dusty from Sotai or like even early Comic Choir days. He would come to shows and be like, Squealy! And he'd be like doing the little wheedly wheedly in the front row, man. I miss that. I miss playing live. Ugh. Thank you, Dusty. Shout out to that dude.
Dusty's been on the podcast, actually.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, I admit, but good dude, man.
I thought it was hilarious because, like, there's just so many weird small world connections in this town.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't remember why, but I typed his name in. Maybe it was his band name or something because I was trying to figure something out to get his episode ready for my own YouTube. And I stumbled across him and Sotai had been on Chilton's podcast a few years prior to that. It's just like, what the fuck? Such a small world, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then
like,
you're tight with those dudes, and like
when we were talking the other night, we just mentioned so many names.
Yeah,
we didn't realize we really had connections on, and it was so many names that my wife was, like, why is it 2 a.m. and you're still on the phone with some dude? It's like I don't think I've talked to.
It was like a State Farm commercial.
Yeah, like, I didn't talk on the phone that long in years. And
yeah, it was wild, dude.
I don't know.
God, because we were talking about everybody. So you recorded one of the coolest things. You recorded with After the Burial. Now, it wasn't their first debut album because didn't Trent and Justin do that on their own? For
the most part. And I mean, for the most part.
Because they were in like Music Tech or something, right? Or IPR or something like that together?
Well, Justin and I went to Hen Tech together.
Is that what it was?
Yep. I'm not sure as far as the rest of the group, as far as education musically, but Justin and I went to Hen Tech together, and yeah, they did their first album. But I mean, primarily Justin mainly did most of the work, especially the early days. But they came in for Rare Form, and they basically rented my house for a month. Back then, it was Northern Vault Studios. That's where the Vault part of the name comes from. And they just sat in my house and recorded and fought and hugged it out and partied with me and my group of my revolving door, because it was like me and I was a bartender at a restaurant, and then we had 3 more bartenders, so there was just a constant party. And then they were there too, and it was just fun. But to watch those guys write, man, like, I don't know, they had a lot of content obviously already, but I mean, they literally sat there and wrote an album. And to watch those 2 guys hash out that album's known for like guitar work.
So they didn't come into the studio with the album?
Not complete, no. It was sweet.
They sat there and wrote it.
A lot of it.
In the studio. And then they programmed the drums, or were they tracking live drums back then?
I want to say it was all programmed, because that was always my bitch, was like, dude, you have one of the best drummers, man. Like, get that dude to like play, and
was Greg still drumming it for him?
No, I think it was Carl was there at that time,
okay.
Or at that point. But it was just one of those deals where, one, budget, right, in the early days. I think they just signed with Sumerian, so it was like very early on, like, I might have been like their first Sumerian payout for services, potentially, back then. And I could be wrong, but I would have been one of the first, other than maybe the rest of the services they were doing outside of my studio. But yeah, he just I don't know if it was ease or just the way it worked out. I know Justin wrote a lot of drums too for the band and whatnot. So they did it their way, and I think that continued. In the next
it was so weird because it almost started contributing to their sound.
Oh yeah.
Like it became a part of their sound, was the programmed drums. Mm-hmm. And like, I give so many people shit for programming drums now, and I feel like it's kind of their fault, because they made it so like so awesome. Popularized with that sound that now bands like that's what they want, and they're like mad that a real drummer can't sound like that.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird how music will do that sometimes, you know?
We kind of create our own shit in your own Wheaties, basically. But I mean, you know what though? Like, I think that band, they've kind of gone the opposite direction with drums. From the best of my knowledge, at least, last couple albums now are real. So, and you can just get that sense of that player, you know, that
Yeah.
vibe and that just sheer talent, man. Dan's a beast. So
Yeah, they've had a lot of drummers. And the craziest thing about them and why I don't hate on them for having programmed drums is because I remember for a long time they were doing shows with a drum machine. Like, I remember watching
way
them.
back,
Yeah.
before they even had a drummer, right?
Yeah, or
But
they
like
were in between drummers, I think.
trying to think of like a specific, because we were just wrapping up at the college, Justin and I, and he was just forming ATB, and I want to say like the skate park in like Princeton or something like that.
I'm pretty
maybe,
sure
or-
Wellner was still singing.
Oh yeah, because he was there from the beginning, wasn't he?
I
Or in the beginning?
think so, yeah.
'Cause
I
it
think
was-
technically, I mean, you would probably know better than I, but I think technically he joined the band later, but he might have been their first real singer. I don't
Okay.
fucking remember. I don't remember. I just remember people that do know, they were like, well, you know, that band was cool, but, you know, like, they weren't really, like, taking off until Wellner joined the band.
Yeah,
And he, like,
I'd
introduced
agree.
them to the hardcore scene, and, like, that's when the band really took off, and it was kind of because of the way Wellner promoted,
Yeah,
like, in that hardcore scene. And, like, I don't know, dude, that fucking band, we could talk for hours just about that band, but
oh absolutely.
you probably know a lot more than I do recording
there's-
with those guys.
Yeah, I mean the big one was the Rare Form guitars, because they also did vocals there, and then when Ant joined, they redid vocals. So
Were they already using Axe effects when you guys recorded Rareform?
No, nope. It was a combination. So in fact, I bought Trent's 6505 Plus. It was ostrich skinned. It was this like ugly brown, but it was ostrich skin. So I'm like, I gotta have that. And he sold it to me, man. Like I was like, sweet. So that was my first tube amp, and that I could get or afford at the time, whatever. And but they were in combination with, I think it was like like the super.
So basically, they run it like I would run it. If you're gonna use effects, cool, right? But try to, like, because those pedal boards are sick for that, because it's just a simple one in, one out. It's all digital, you know.
Right.
You just get all that shit. But they were running their main drive in tube tone to get all that. And then did they run those through the effects loop, or did they run it just straight in signal?
A little of both, but you know the end result, I'm not sure, because they didn't mix with me. Justin, I believe, did that on his own. So I couldn't tell you the final little recipe there, but I can just tell. I don't even think XFX was out yet, if I recall correctly, because that was, I forget the year, but it was like 07, 08 maybe.
I feel like it was out.
So, but and then they came back when I partnered with Mike Byrne. We had Transit Audio. He had it already, and I partnered with him, I should say. But they came back for Wolves Within, In Dreams, I think, a little bit on vocals. So I didn't get to see what they were doing with guitars at that point, but just got to hang out with Ant and track those him.
Because that's what, dude, almost exclusively kids are using that shit now.
Yeah.
You'll still find some kids, you know, it's, you know,
Hard to find tubes, man.
It's, I mean, you'll still find kids that are all about it, but yeah, it's the Kemper.
Yeah.
And then the Axe effects, those are the two big things. And honestly, dude, if you can get them to sound great, do it.
Right.
Like I've said this a million times, fucking Chad from Banehinge. I don't know if you remember those guys. Chad's the only guy I've ever known who dialed in a solid state amp to the point where, like, people were like, that fucking tone crushes.
Right.
Like, how does he get that tone? And he got that tone from a solid state amp. It was just that amp too. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I love that amp. That's
It was
great
probably
amp.
a Create.
No, it was some weird Marshall. It was some weird solid state Marshall, but he just had it, and it was great. It was amazing. No one else was getting that tone though.
Yeah, shit. I bet it's see, this is the stuff that's not on my reference sheet that I'll never remember. The Mach 4 or something like that was popularized by Well, the band that did Chop Suey. I'm not recalling.
Oh, System?
Yeah, what was that
System of a
guitarist's
Down?
big Marshall amp that he was
Oh, I have no idea.
it? But yeah, probably one of them. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you got a lot of bands though that do use Axe effects or say Kemper that do sound great. I mean, Intervals is a great example. Love that band. They got some pretty sweet tone, but a lot of them, I find, at least in my opinion, they tend to dial back the gain, and it's upfront and intimate. And whereas bands that don't, if they want to try to get that super duper metal tone and high gain and all that jazz, and then have multiple guitarists playing all that same solid state gear, that's where you run into problems.
Sure.
Again, just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and it's different too if you're talking recording versus performing.
True.
Like, because you need headroom, you got to be able to cut through a mix. There's just different. There's different vibes,
And PAs pushing all that wattage is so much different than recording.
It's so much easier to get a direct in or a solid state amp recorded,
right?
Then, because dude, most of us don't even have the ability to push our amp. Like our PV 5150, like what I got, and you basically have the exact same thing
all the time.
3,
yeah.
It's like,
and you're lucky to get it there, even.
Right, dude. It's like, dude, we're barely even pushing those tubes. That's not even what those amps really sound like. So then to get them, to turn around and record that, and then get that to sound good, it's way harder. It's way harder. But if it can be done, it does sound better.
That's what they're designed to do. If you can get like those load centers now,
pull that mic back.
You want to all the way back?
Yeah.
Like if you get a load center that's allowing you to crank your amp but yet not be so loud, that helps a lot. But
basically an attenuator, right?
Yeah. I guess in a nutshell, I mean it's helped a lot on the recording side of things too, because they make 100-watt amps, and unless you're playing a stadium, why do you need all that? Right. Unless you're competing, with 3 other 100-watt amps, right? Then it becomes like a shit show, like, especially in metal when it's just gain everywhere, gain, high gain. That reminds me, like back in the day. So I Am Vengeance, James Sanders filled in for a bit because our Canadian guitar player was probably going to school studying like some crazy engineering because he's super smart, but he plays his like 5150 at like 1.5 or maybe 2 or something like that. And he's just shredding balls, just putting it out there.
Yeah,
I just never knew how he could do it. You look at his setup and it's like same amp, same guitar, same cables.
Dude, even the fucking
do that?
Even like the real 5150 combo amp, which is like, I think it's 60 watts, might even only be 50.
Yeah, I guess. Dude, I don't recall.
That thing, it's a 2x12.
Yeah.
Fucking rips.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than enough.
Yep.
It's more than enough. But it's weird because when you're jamming by yourself or with another group of guitar players or whatever, everything's all fine on whatever gear you have. But then you start jamming with that drummer, and all of a sudden, like, nobody can hear themselves properly. And it's, it comes down to the very simple fundamentals of live sound. You're not cutting through the mix. Right. You're all operating at exactly the same frequency. It's all getting jarbled in there. So everybody's trying to get turned up louder. And then here's the fucked part, dude. You jump over to like something like, whether it's a Darcy or not Darcy. I'm thinking hockey, Darcy Kemper. I got hockey on the brain. Whether it's a Kemper profile amp or whatever it's called, modeling amp or whatever the fuck.
I'm gonna name my first profiling amp my tube something or other.
As soon as you
Darcy.
have enough, do you ever notice? Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, fuck, man, now we can't hear the drummer's kicks.
Right.
And it's like, then you're trying to turn these amps down. So then the next thing is, well, no, you get a subwoofer for the drummer. And so it's like you start building like
ebb and flow of,
dude, this all of a sudden, like you end up like Skywind back in the day where you have a stage with a riser and subs below that and your own PA system, and you have your whole own rig.
Correct.
To get everything balanced out at the right volumes.
Mm-hmm. Like, and two, it comes to talent.
It's not easy, dude.
Like, for example, bass player Nick Jackson, he can walk into a practice space, no matter what practice space, no matter what musicians, and he'll just attenuate his amp accordingly. And he's not like I have to hear myself and I'm going to be loud. I mean, he just kind of looks at the group, figures out the sound, and then can you attenuate to be a part of the whole instead of just until he can hear, and
right.
And people don't understand if you stand right next to your amp versus on the other side of the room, or align your gear in a certain way and how it hurts or helps.
Yeah.
Especially live too. Like a drummer, you talked about until you get the drummer there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, certain drummers they have one volume too. It's kind of like these new bands with MIDI. It's like all the way up and then just blast through stuff. Well, you have a drummer that understands the song or understands the group too, and they can kind of lighten up on the cymbals or just do different volumes in general on their drum kit. That can help a lot as well in relation to being able to hear the entire band, even in metal where we're all fighting for space.
Yeah.
Especially complex metal. So, but.
No, fucking Sanders brings up a good point. And I'm totally down with this, but most of us, I don't think, have 10 grand to build a guitar rig. But I do think this is the future, is you do the hybrid. You get that fucking Kemper, and then you run it through the preamp tubes, like the really, like pick your amp, and that's your clean tone, right? Like your true clean tube tone. Pick it. Whether you want your Mesa or your Marshall or your PV, pick it. And then run a Kemper through that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bands will do
or vice versa.
Setups.
I bet, and then you could start getting in the signal chain debate, right? Do you run it through the tubes first and then through the Kemper, or do you run it through the Kemper first and then through the tubes? And then you could have it run through the effects loop for its own signal chain through either one in either order.
Man,
you could start getting creative, dude, and that's an art in itself, dude.
Yeah,
you ever go to that website where you type in the guitar player?
Oh, and the rig pops up?
Yeah, and it breaks down their rig, and you can compare this guy's rig and where he put it in his signal chain versus somebody else, and it will change the tone, so to speak.
What was it, Guitar Magazine? They used to always have that section in the back that showed it, like a CAD drawing of the rig.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I used to study that shit, man. And working with Byrne over at Transient, so there's... I forget the dude's name, but he's in I think his current project is Instill, is what he calls it. Maybe it was Thera, that effect. But anyways, he's got a rig, and I mean, he pulled it in the studio, and the thing was like, I don't know, 5 feet tall, road case, and it had drawers, and every single one of them had a pedal in, like, full of pedals, and then he had like 7 stations where all of these things plugged in and the power supply to everything. It was like, so you're going to plug one thing into that. We're going to get maybe 2 out this side of it, but it's going to go through all that. And you're telling me we're not going to run into issues? But he knew how to do it. Like,
I'm just cringing over here.
This is probably like 50 grand of a setup of pedals. And I'm just like, fucking impressive. Like, and it worked. The dude, I mean, he did so much with that, but to lug that around, dude,
that's a lot of work.
I bitch about tube amps, like they're heavy, and in 412 cabs, like, that's another reason why everybody's getting away from that stuff, because it's lighter to have effects and direct into your front of house. But this dude, he lugged around this light case of just pedals, let alone the amp, so I don't know. Crazy, but technology is great. I mean, I would love to get into some of that stuff. I mean, Tone Vault was based off of the love of tone and tubes and just stuff that you can hear like prominently. Huge, just all encompassing, like thick resonance. And it'd be sweet to be able to figure out a way to create that too in my own little niche of market and do it for a price point that. For people that don't want to go spend $3,000 on a effect, or on a tube amp, or something.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, even some of those Mesa heads were $2-3 grand.
Oh yeah,
and then you want to couple that with a Kemper. Well, there's another $2-3 grand. Plus, you need a dope ass cab. There's at least $1,000, at least, if not $1,500.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it just gets so expensive. It's like. The real question is how do you get great tone as a younger, newer musician without the crazy budget?
Yeah.
And that's a hard question to answer, but
that's what the Sanders of the world did figure. and then you gave him a tube amp, and then you've ever seen him play live, dude?
I remember Sanders. I don't think I remember him live though. Like I remember the band, but I don't think I remember him live.
So A Moment Without was his big gig.
Yeah, and I don't think I was around when that band was out playing live. When they were gigging, I don't think I was around.
Okay, well, that sounded killer. Yeah, him and Nick. I mean, Nick was the shredder. Well, they both shred, but
I think Sanders is in chat. Sanders, what were you jamming with back then? Were you still just rocking a 5150? Because that's why I'm obsessed with the 5150. I think it's the cheapest way to get into pro tone.
It used to be. Now it's become such a icon that it's not as cheap as it was. You know, you go on Reverb.
Well, 6505 is the same thing too, or at least it used to be.
Close, yeah, as close as you can get. Sanders is on. I better not talk shit.
Oh, that motherfucker. Do you know Sanders' first name?
Bottom right. James?
Oh. It's John.
John.
Yeah.
Sanders.
Yeah. The running joke is that Jerry Sanders. The running joke is that no one actually knows his first name, which I'm convinced is kind of true.
Yeah.
Everyone just knows him as Sanders.
Right. Seeley, same thing. I had that over.
It says Marshall AVT. I don't think that's what he was playing. I think that's the amp we were talking about earlier. The badass.
Yeah. I could.
Because Sanders was around for those Bane Hinge days, so that's probably what Chad was rocking back then to get that sweet. And that's a solid state amp. It can be done. You just got to know what you're doing, and you got to, like, be consistent with it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, man, because I'm not smart enough, but I know a good tone sounds like.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing, like, you can't always explain why my podcast doesn't look as good as Rogan's, but it's clear and obvious. Well, Rogan's looks better. Well, why? Well, I don't know. It just does. Like, that's how most of us talk about sound. Like, I don't know. It just does.
Unfortunately, too, the human condition, not everybody's the same. So they might, especially newer generations of kids or musicians or guitar players, they like the sound of saxophone. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't throw the same riff through a tube amp. They're going to be like, no, that's muddy, or maybe that's just... It's too much because it can't sit in a mix that's full of, you know, drums or whatever other instrument. You know, they just get a liking to. It's like it's like audiophiles. You know, I like vinyl. You know, I like tape. I like CDs. I like this or that. It's all relative. It's
the only thing that scares the shit out of me with those, right? Because like it makes so much sense to me that it's a brilliant idea. Like, why do I have to worry about all of those pedals when I have an infinite amount, and I can just program anything I want to this, and essentially an infinite number of banks and cycle this out. And it's like, okay, what happens then? Here's what I want to know. What happens if that thing gets fried? Right. What happens if that thing gets stolen? Right? What happens if something, like, do you lose all of that? Do you have to rebuild everything from the ground up? And since because the way I know my brain works, if I just do something once and it's just always there and I just load it up, eventually I forget what it was and how I did it.
I'm the same way.
Right? So how do you take care of that in the middle of a tour? Like, are you carrying around SD cards? So now your life is like, whereas when you have these real instruments and real pedals, you developed an intimate relationship because you understand how to manipulate this pedal. And so, yeah, if your board gets stolen, you're kind of fucked, but you can replace just that because you still got the amp over here.
Right.
If the amp gets stolen, well, I at least still have my pedal board, so I just got to get an amp. That sounds pretty good for tonight, right? Like, it's like chunks that can be managed, whereas if I'm just terrified of those things, because again, what if your board fries?
Yeah,
how do you do anything in that rig without your board? Like, what if your board goes down that night, your stomp box or whatever it is, you know, to do all your shit? You're just so overly reliant on two pieces of gear. If either one of them break down, everything is gone.
It brings back memories, bad memories. I always lugged a solid state amp.
Does that make sense?
As well as a tube amp for shows, for that very reason. You know, a tube goes out or you fry something. It's dark, you plug in your cab, you know, in the wrong socket. And next thing you got, I mean, I always had a backup, but I hated myself for having a solid state backup, so I started lugging around two tube amps. It was
fucking heavy though, man.
Yeah.
They're heavy though, and they got to be taken care of. And
yeah, the temperature doesn't love them. Here in these the cold, frigid winter,
especially shaking them, transporting them.
Right.
Brutal. A brutal life we put those amps through, but they sound so good if you take care of them.
If you take care of them and you know how to play,
yeah.
Play them. But yeah, I don't know. I think a different product line would be cool. I just don't know what it would look like. There's a lot of guys that kind of do a hybrid, like Axe effects and tube amp combo with like just the effects being the Axe effects, and then like the tone being the amp. It'd be hard to like go up against that mindset and create a new product. I feel like guys are already kind of accomplishing it so well, but there's a lot of good cables. Here I am trying to make another one,
Yeah.
So
cables are a weird thing though, dude, because like I worked at Guitar Center. I saw how much margin is in those motherfuckers. There's room in that market.
Yeah. Depending on the brand, I mean, you pay a lot of money for big brands. I'm not a big brand,
right?
So that's why I don't charge a lot. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, it's a premium product, so it's definitely not the cheapest cable in the store, but it's 40% less than the most expensive one that has the exact same.
Right.
I don't have any employees though yet, so maybe that's probably part of it. Pay them.
Yeah, but then once you get more, you start making them more efficiently. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, I have a manufacturer, so that's the great part of it. Like, I sell more, I make more. It's not the price the price doesn't need to increase. I just need to order more product. It's already set up to scale itself.
Right. That's sick, dude.
In theory.
That's awesome, man. Who else you working with? Your list of musicians over there.
So, I mean, we're endorsing. So I shouldn't say we are. They are endorsing us, but we just signed up. Well, Coffin Wrights was the first. Actually, 1459 Studios. So Will was the first to endorse Tone Vault. And I don't think we've even actually, he has. I haven't on my side yet because I'm still waiting on content, I think, represent the best way I can for him. But he was the first to sign up and get on board with trying to endorse the brand, and then followed by his band Coffin Wrights. By the way, any of their stuff. I know you're not as a death metal dude as I am.
Yeah, I mean,
this shit's sweet, dude.
I like those guys because I know them, but if I didn't know them, I probably wouldn't like them. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's one of those things. Because I love those dudes. I've known Will for so long. It's like
that man's got his hands in everything. But yeah, they were the first. So a couple more other guys are interested, which are in other bands too, which is always good for the brand awareness. But then I just got recently Common Choir. Been reaching out with Zach and talking with him, and they're blowing up. So that's good news for Tone Vault, and I mean
it's crazy for me to think Dusty was in that band at one point in time.
Right.
It's so wild, dude. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, a lot of people through that band, but they just keep keeping on, and that's longevity is like what you talked about earlier. Make it more like a centralized, not a business, because then it's not fun, but like it still kind of almost needs to be that.
I mean, getting paid is fun, dude.
True.
Like, I don't know why everybody says that. Oh, I don't want to be why? Business is how you get paid. You go to work. This is how I think about it. Not to cut you out, but keep it simple. We are all going to work every day. Every single one of us go to work.
Right.
Why is it blasphemy to be like, why can't I like merge the two and get paid to go do the music thing? Like, run it like a business so you don't have to go to a real job.
Right.
You're gonna be working for somebody. Why not yourself doing what you love?
Yeah, there's
Treat it like a business.
A lot that goes into it, man.
Get paid.
Ugh. I'm still trying to figure out how to get paid. It's all back into the biz, but I mean, I'm trying to.
I think most of us have to bite it and start doing covers.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah,
because we have to run it like a business. Like, here's where our profit centers are. Blah,
if
blah,
you
blah,
want
blah,
to
blah.
continue and be able to, life kind of throws you more and more as you age, right? So then now, if you're not getting paid for the time you're putting into how much time it takes to be proficient in music, you almost have to. I mean, how do you continue to do it otherwise? But yeah,
I think you gotta have multiple things going on surrounding your music.
Great point. Merch, online shit.
Yep, some sort of weird online presence, depending on what you do. Yeah, do something. Like, for me, it's the podcast, right? And then I got music, obviously. and I got other YouTube things that I'm trying to do and Twitch things I'm trying to do.
That's awesome.
But then you also got certain guitar players that are doing shit on Instagram. You know, they're doing lessons, they're doing playthroughs. Some guys are going live on Twitch and they're shredding and doing covers. Like doing something where it's, you know, my buddy Sweaty, well, his actual name is Joey, but he's over on Twitch
Sweaty
gaming.
is awesome.
He's over there gaming. Do you know Sweaty Pedals?
No, but the name is awesome.
His name's Sweaty Pedals. His name's Joey Moy. He's the lead singer for Uncle Daddy. He's dope as fuck.
Sweaty Pedals?
Dude, he started gaming on Twitch to promote his band. Started doing so well, he quit his job.
Oh, man.
Now he's a full-time game streamer, content creator, and musician. And it was all so he could push his band.
I need to get a hold of that dude and pick his brain.
It's
awesome.
pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. He's been on the podcast a couple times, actually. He's probably the best example because he's already figured it out. He's kind of
successfully.
And ironically,
obviously.
This all kind of happened right as I started the podcast. So I got to him and booked him right away. And he's blown up since then, right? And we're still buddies and shit. But like, you can just kind of steal his map. Greg Chilton.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, start doing your fucking tie-dyeing on Twitch. Like live on Twitch.
Right.
Like live on TikTok. Like that's the shit you need to be doing. Because, dude, those motherfuckers are donating money, subscribing.
It's awesome. See, that's the best part about technology these days. Like, and I love, you said earlier, you know, musicians are doing like instructional stuff and like lessons. How easy is it to be able to do that these days, right? To just stream and let people, whether it's kids or older people, learn from these people that have spent so many hours developing their craft and they do the thing, but like they have free time where they can badass. I think it's such a neat world we live in right now to be able to help people out in that vein, you know. By the way, I see it's Piff from Thera. I appreciate the input there. That dude, he is like the master of pedal boards. Just impressive. But yeah, man, to be able to put content out is such a neat thing, and that's kind of been the most exciting part of this endeavor with Tone Vault has been like the marketing side of it, the online side of it, and just learning how to think more entrepreneurially versus I play music, I play in a band, I'm going to play shows, and I'm going to sell merch, and that's the only way we're going to make it big and make money off this. Sell t-shirts on your YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like do something more, and now you can do that.
No, I agree with that 100%, dude, because again, when the pandemic happened, like the backup plan didn't really work for a lot of people either. They were like, oh, I'm a musician, but you know, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to have a job, you know, and then a lot of motherfuckers found out they weren't essential, you know,
right.
And they lost their job during the pandemic. And then it was like, so neither one of these things worked because you never really truly sank your feet in with anything around the music business. So if you would have had an online footing, and that's what I'm not bitter about it in any stretch of the imagination, but it makes me a little sandy with myself that I stopped doing that audio version of the podcast, because I wonder, I'm like, man, if I would have kept going or even started it a year or two before that, which is when I really wanted to do it, but it took me so long before I actually got my shit together to do a podcast. Dude, I wonder where I would be at if I would have started basically the equivalent of 6-7 years ago. I'm curious. I'm not bitter about it, but I'm a little pissed at myself for not taking it more seriously back then.
Yeah, but I mean, I
because
totally
now I wonder where I'd be.
I relate to you, but you started. And
that's true.
Most people don't. I've read so many damn self-help books on business and just like how to get your mind right, you know, to like keep up with whether it's the business and its turmoil or learning how to do business when you didn't go to business school. I mean, I went to school for recording music, so completely different thing.
Yeah.
Or once you get online, all the haters, like you try to like mentally prepare for that.
Yeah, you got to get somebody who's just fucking hilarious. You got to basically hire a comedian to write all your Twitter responses.
Dude, that's a great idea. That's going to be my first employee. No,
that would be a good investment because that could make your company blow up and go viral just right there.
well, maybe we need to talk.
I mean, that's great press. I mean, look at how many times people like take something that was Wendy's has a great Twitter response
where they owned the hater.
Dude,
yeah,
they be roasting people, dude. It's
but like in a
fucking pretty good.
respectable way, though. It's not like dude, guy shouldn't have said that. It was bad taste. It's like, dude, guy said that. I can't believe he did, and that was genius, and nobody can deny that.
It's great press. It's
great
press.
You know what? Now that reminds me of Mike Byrne, because that's what he's great at. I got to talk to that dude. But I was never good at that. I was just good at like getting hammered and acting like a goofball. He was good at intelligently ripping on everything to the point where the whole room was just horse laughing. Man, that's a great skill to have.
Yeah, I don't know Byrne that well. I mean, I know him, but I don't know him very well.
It's kind of like
I sold some gear. I sold some gear to him when I worked at GC.
Oh, of course.
But I didn't really even sell it to him. I rolled it for Jake because he refused to buy gear from anyone other than Muley. Yep.
Yeah, dude.
So Muley would have shit, and then after a while, Mike knew he could trust me to just roll the deal fairly. I wasn't trying to snag that because Jake was my boy too, right?
Oh yeah.
But there was a period of time where he wouldn't even let me roll the deal because he was afraid I was trying to like pull some weird shenanigan. Because he was just like, nope, I'm buying it from Jake. From Jake.
Sure.
It took a while before I even was able to just roll the deal for him. I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to bite your shit, dude. Just get in here, get your gear, get out, dude.
I think it's just a worry of who's getting commission, probably just realistically. I mean, Muley we were doing projects with him too, so I assume.
Dude, motherfuckers did try to steal deals all the time, so I appreciated it, but I was just like, let me just roll your deal and get you out of here, dude. So like when Jake comes in, he can roll another deal. Like instead of, you're just like taking more time than needs to be done.
So what was your role with Guitar Center? Were you?
I started on sales and then I became the department manager in Edina.
That's right. Who the hell was that drummer dude that was just insane? Like he'd sit on a kit and blast just days. I bought so much damn gear from that guy. I just can never remember his name.
Sales?
Yeah, sales
in
guy
the drum
drums,
section.
Yeah.
Blasted a lot.
He was just a straight metalhead. I think he was in like Nailed Shut or something like that.
I don't remember.
I
don't think I remember any really metal drummers that worked in. Yeah, doesn't ring a bell. Corey was the drum manager.
Yep,
in Edina.
Short hair.
Yeah, pretty much the entire. I miss Corey. I think he's in Appleton, Wisconsin now. Yeah, he's a store manager.
Still with Guitar Center.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He watches the podcast every once in a while. What the fuck? Anthony's talking about pedals, pedal board, easy to adjust on the fly. Specifically, he was talking about cables or something earlier. He Foley's one of those dudes that loves like boutique companies and shit.
Well, yeah, what's not to love, man?
Yeah, and you make the super flat-ended right angle cables, right? The ones that are like perfect for going in between.
I do currently just 6-inch length for pedal boards or pedals specifically. Yeah, I don't have.
That's where it's at.
Eventually I'll do other lengths.
Flathead. What are those called?
Yeah, what's the term? Pancake, basically.
Yeah.
Just
that
space
sounds
efficient.
Right.
Yeah, I went that route.
Space efficient.
Just so that you could fit more on,
pancake right angle.
Yeah. Yep.
It's dope, dude, because that's always the bane of every fucking pedal board setup of all time.
Too much shit.
Yeah, and I never really had a super elaborate setup, but as soon as like something was going wrong, it was just really obvious to me. Those guys with the big ones, like they have to go through and signal check all of that.
Troubleshooting's a bitch.
So the more reliable the cables, the more important it is, dude. The last thing you want, especially during a show. Oh my god, dude. Ugh.
Well, I mean, here's think about this, right? You got all this gear that's expensive. You got $100, $300 cables. You got amps that are thousands of dollars, and then you're up there to play a show to try to impress people or to have a good time, if nothing else. and then maybe even sell a little merch afterwards and give the sound guy something to do to give the venue people to go there to see your band to make sales off of. Like, it's more than just you, right? And then you fail because of a dumb little cable. This little $10 or $20 or even up to $100, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this most inexpensive part of this entire thing fails. And then you're sitting there with, it's just like, and so that's always my driver when people, are asking why I do cables instead of anything else or what. Like, well, premium quality, that's important to me. And it's still the cheapest thing in the signal chain, at least in my experience. So,
yeah, I would say pretty for almost every single musician possible. My experience.
I'm not everybody. Some people just still love their $10 cables that are going to break and that they got to go buy a new one and rely on,
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a gigging music, like if you're just dicking around at home and shit, I get it. But if you're gigging or recording, you kind of gotta do it right. Especially because they all, once you get into like the right class, they all, like yours, come with that guarantee. Where if it breaks, if it fails, send it back.
Yeah,
it's covered.
Yeah, no questions. I mean, we've all been there. And that's another thing. Like,
the warranty's really where it's at. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Because shit happens to cables, man. They get stepped on, they get cut, they get pinched, they get ripped. Like, that's one thing I like about the cables that I currently was using, is I was like, I noticed one of them got wrapped around and like pinched in here, and it was like, well, now I can just go turn that in and get that swapped. I don't even have to pay for it again.
Yep.
It's the security of knowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's dope.
And I mean, even at the end of the day, you still, even your manufacturer would screw, right? Because nobody's perfect. But as long as you don't have a hassle, and as long as you know that you got something you can rely on, whether it's the product itself or the replacement aspect, I think that's what's important. And there's a lot of brands that aren't doing that, but there are a lot of brands that are, and so that's where I thought there would be opportunity. You can come in the middle ground and just offer another product that helps instead of doesn't. So I don't know. So far, so good. We've done quite a bit of sales, and I've only seen, I don't know, it's like less than 1% of a return or warranty claim. It's typically human error, nothing of the actual product.
Really?
So far, so good.
Like, it wasn't plugged in.
Well, they like ordered it, and either Amazon crushed literally, I got a return back, and the thing was crushed and at a right angle. And I'm like, yeah, pretty sure we didn't manufacture it that way,
Right.
I got another one where the dude's like, thought this was like a coffee mug. It's something just random, weirdly different. It's like, whatever, cool. Oh, thanks.
Maybe his kid had something stuck in the cart.
Hey Alexa, order me a.
Yeah, check out. There's already 2 items in the cart.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. The way to look on my side. Actually, the discount setup, one link, I think it's the off Amazon link.
Oh, nice.
You don't even have to do any work.
Sick. Yeah, go get your cables, guys. Go get some cables.
Dude, I gotta compliment your shirt.
Oh yeah. I thought about you, and I was like, I should wear this shirt.
I appreciate that, man. It's framed at my house.
Yeah.
Mine got too old and like small. So I cut it out and Justin.
Yeah.
Love it.
I had to wear this shirt today. I almost never actually think about what shirt I'm gonna wear, and then I was like just filtering through real quick. I was just deciding whether I was gonna wear a t-shirt or not. Because they're not like organized in my closet.
I was kind of hoping for the cardigan, dude.
Dude, I'm getting a little chilly. I've been looking for the cardigan. That's why I keep moving around. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm getting cold. Dude.
Just trying to stay warm. It is Minnesota. Yeah. I saw it must be Andy from Twin Cities.
Hey, what's up, Andy?
That shirt, he's last ad I did, he filmed it at Winterland. Great dude.
No shit.
You know Andy at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we may have met, but I can't say I know. No.
Lorangula, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize if I botched that. him and his brother, I believe it's Mike. They had a band, Los Sueños. Hope I got that right. But I don't know, man. He had heavy involvement with Justin too, and I think he's teaching his nephew guitar right
Sick.
now. Great dude. Great film guy. Thanks for checking in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys dropping in, man. Is there anything else in there? Oh, dude, yeah. Because we were talking about pedals, dude. And we were talking about tubes and all that shit, dude. You know what is cool though, man? Is fucking the digital pedals, dude. The digital effects.
So
like they're doing individual pedals, like TC Electronics and all kinds of other companies and shit, dude. Some of those are pretty banger, dude. Like some really impressive shit, dude. And they're cool because you can download patches into them and shit. Some of them you can sync up with your phone, and because you're still just running that through your beautiful tube tone as well. You know what I mean?
You know, that's a great point.
Those are fucking cool. Have you checked out any of those, man?
Honestly, I haven't much at least in the last couple of years because I've been so focused on building this. But I haven't even played guitar, dude. And like, I played guitar once at the Prince Music Studio at the Mall of America like 3 days ago, only because I was there talking shop about trying to get cables at the Mall of America, which I'm hopeful of. But that was the first time I played guitar in like, I don't know, 3 years or something.
There's a music hold on, wait.
I take that back. I played once with Rob.
There's a music shop at the Mall of America.
Prince Music Studios or Prince Music Shop, yeah, company.
It's a guitar store.
A little everything. They got violins and drums and all kinds of stuff in there.
Okay.
They sell cables. They sell like music books. But the Tundra, it's right there, 3rd floor, I think, the right side. Not in.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know it was there either. I just happened to be over there for a COVID vaccine or something dumb like that. But right past, I'm like, holy shit! And I talked to Rick, the owner. Dude, guy's awesome. Plays the harmonica. And I'm like, hey, I sell cables. Just happened to be walking by. He's like, let's talk. Sweet.
That's dope, dude.
Tone Vault at the Mall of America. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. We'll see.
That's what you need. You need some sort of retail POS where you can do the warranty exchange.
Yeah,
and facilitate that for you.
Absolutely.
And then because then you can get into Guitar Center too, and then you're fucking.
Talked to 3 of those, but you know what? I don't know. Bloomington seemed to be the most receptive, and we'll see.
They just got to build you in as a vendor, dude. You just need one savvy manager who actually, because they don't really need to ask permission to build you in as a fucking, and then you just have the thing set up with them. It's not that hard. You just got to get people that actually know what they're doing. Problem is they all get paid. No one gets paid on commission anymore. So they don't really give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
When we were on commission, dude, like we would do anything to sell some shit.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, you want to sell cables?
We just put them on the hook over here. We don't even put them in the system.
Just give us a SKU number, pop, load them up.
Right.
As long as fucking Jeff had the inventory right, he was good too. He didn't give a shit.
Why didn't I know you then? You need to go back to work there.
Dude, Mike knew me back then. You weren't making cables back then, were you?
No. But see, like you said before, you always can kick yourself for not starting years and
why didn't I start earlier?
But here I am still, and here you are doing this still, and at least we put our one foot in front of the next.
Yeah, we're building, and it's weird because the YouTube thing's going, oh my God, and I say this a lot, I never in my wildest dreams thought it would take this fucking long to get to 1,000 subs. Like I thought I'd be way past 1,000 subs. The YouTube shit is fickle. Like we're doing way better on the audio side of things, because we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, and we're on all kinds of weird, obscure apps and shit. And
is it easier to do this than it is to, like, say, music from your perspective?
What do you mean?
As far as getting, like instead of subscribers, you have fans, or in the
oh, this is
side.
Way harder.
Is it?
Well, think about it, dude.
We used to people blasting it.
We used to easily get 500 to 1,500 people to pay us money to come see us play shows.
Oh, I don't have that experience. I had like 50
like
people,
like just your band.
Yeah.
Right. So then you put together a decent bill. Boom, there's 500 people paid to come see you guys play your music. right?
You didn't play death metal, did you?
No.
Oh,
See,
damn
I
it.
told you
That
I
was
don't
my
like that
first
shit that
mistake.
much, dude. But I like metal. I just did the death metal side of things. Black metal, it just got a little fucking
I love all
monotonous and redundant. But but no, dude, like it's you just got to keep doing it slowly. It's incremental growth over time, you know, and it just comes, you know. It's not going to be a big burst, and that's same thing for anything else. I got my buddy Eric. You know Kai's, don't you?
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Kai's.
Yeah, he's on my
He's
list.
doing
here.
the fitness shit. Yeah.
He's right somewhere on here. Oh, Etheric and
Yeah.
others. Yeah.
So he's doing the fitness shit. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not
I
all of a
love
sudden
seeing
like
that.
boom, you're gonna suddenly be making 100 G's a year. He's
I reached out to him.
one client at a time right now.
Wanted to pick his brain on some course work because I think he's
some horse work.
No. course with a C. He's going to be. I think. Well, I shouldn't say. I don't know what he wants to be known out there, but anyways, there might be some. I don't know, collaboration or something with him. Not necessarily like to the extent that I may be alluding to, but more or less just exchange of information, because we're kind of almost in a similar online space of our part of our life, you know, where we know what we got to do on the ground, but now online is a vehicle, you know, and we gain momentum and make that worth all of that. And I'm really excited to see like where he takes his business and what he's doing to do it. I see more and more people, like, and you're another example of that, like being online and trying to do something and make whether it's an income or whether it's to bring the community together, but whatever your effort is, doing it through the internet got me super excited right now.
It's fun.
And that's why I'm here, because I just think it's so neat to be able to continue to do that. You know, whether it's a benefit or not, I guess we won't know for. They say most people, especially their own businesses, they don't see.
Right.
So, I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm not quite there yet. But you got to start somewhere, man. That's the key.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if that's true for me too, because I'm not even 40 yet. I'm
How old are you?
37.
37?
Yeah. Or am I 38? I think I'm 37. Born in 84.
Yeah.
I'm 37.
Yeah.
I'm 37.
86 and it.
Yeah. I'm 37.
No, that just
So
means
if most of my success comes in my mid 40s,
yeah, we got 10 years to go, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh man.
That's a lot of comments between now and then.
Dude, for real, if most of my success comes in my 40s, dude, fuck yeah, bro. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's all uphill from here then,
Yeah,
man.
let's hope so.
Or downhill.
Well, either
Depends
way.
on how you want to look at it. Like you
Yeah.
want to, it's funny, you want to go up, but that's the work, right? You want to go down because then you're just like coasting the whole way.
Yeah, coasting. I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
It seems like work. It's exciting. I don't know about you, but
It can't get any worse than 2020 and 2021. Those back-to-back dudes were two shit-ass years, brother.
Looking forward to the future. Yeah.
2022 already looks great. It already looks much better.
Yeah, it's not 2021. Right. No, I hear you. It's a breath of fresh air too, you know. Plus we're gonna, I don't know, Minnesotans in our time of the year, the winter, you know, turning that new leaf, kind of a morale boost. And then as we get into spring and shit starts turning green, you know, I love the grim frostbitten northern winter, trust me. Black metal for days, but man, yeah, I like green.
Dude, and it's honestly, man, it's like you spend so much time indoors away from the sun, which now we know has a huge effect on things, right? For your mood and your fucking body chemistry and all kinds of shit. What do you do to fucking not lose your shit over the winter? Like, what do you do to stay positive over the winter?
Well, you know, that's a good question. I'm kind of I don't know. I shouldn't say anomaly because I'm sure there's a plethora of other people out there that do the same thing I do. But at least with my inner circle of close knit friends and peers, I'm known to be persistent, consistent, and patient. And so when I'm feeling like the world's kicking my ass, and I'm down or whatever, I just keep on. Like I don't know, man.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at fucking Brad jumping in. What's with these matinees without warning? That's we do it when we do it.
I don't know, man. You just got to keep on keeping on. Like
I warned everybody. You had at least 30 minutes.
I don't know. How about you? Like, or are you just never down? Like you're just super happy-go-lucky all the time? Is that what Jared's known for? Like,
no,
super.
I would doubt that. I'm pretty driven. I'm pretty intense.
Yeah.
But I would not say like happy or go lucky would be. I'd say more pissed off, got a chip on my shoulder.
All right. You gotta have a good mix. Like, I'll keep the vibe up, and you'll actually get shit done. I
gotta be careful. I'll get myself worked up. I don't want to fucking all of a sudden be like, all right, now let's go fuck someone up.
Next subject.
No, I gotta like, cause I can fucking get super intense. And that's my big problem is like getting shit done and staying driven without being too intense and like alienating other people along the way.
I started to do that too, and I kind of saw a trend in myself getting that way. But I mean, and I'm not saying that's bad, but I get shit done, and there's a lot of great successful people. But for me, I a lot of it came out of like heavy drink.
Yeah.
And combine that with metal and like headbanging all my brain cells away. I had to quit that. Actually, quit drinking, and I feel like I've been a hell of a nice to people. Right? Because that's where I started, and that's how I got traction, was being a good person. That's a whole nother podcast, I think.
I came up with a lot of great ideas. Super drunk though, dude. Like right? I came up with a lot of great ideas.
Are you saying
a lot of good ideas.
Like the Jackass movie style of ideas, or like musically?
Dude, how much time do we got, brother?
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm telling you right now, man. No, seriously, I've come up with a lot of great ideas just from drinking, just fucking partying and sitting down here listening to music, jamming, whatever.
Creates the time.
Sometimes it's a musical idea, Yeah. Sometimes it's an idea for a show.
It gets you to focus on stuff instead of not. Like, and what I mean by that is you don't just wake up and focus on. I mean, you got life, right? So you're like, wake up, you get out of bed, you brush your teeth, make breakfast, you go to work, you do all that. When you're drinking, you're like, fun, write music, and hang out with my buddies, play a show or whatever you're doing. and then that's when the stuff that's truly important to you comes out, because you spent the time on it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, although I did do a mean, we called it drondry back in the day. I do hours, 4 beers, made
drunk laundry.
Yeah, just made laundry more fun.
I do miss the days where I was young and had a lot more energy, and I'd day drink, crank some tunes, and power clean the whole house.
Right.
Be shit faced, pass out at like 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, forget I had done any of that shit, and wake up the next morning to a completely clean house.
Yeah.
And be like, what the fuck? Like, what happened to it?
Yeah.
I miss those days, dude.
Yeah, a small part of me does too, but there's, responsibilities in my life, including like this business and, my family. I just found myself not productive, like to the level I needed to be, and I'm still not. I shit the bed every day in productivity, but I put one foot in front of the other, man, and that's you.
Yeah, and I think just making those day-to-day steps are one of the big keys, but then like keep your head at the horizon too, so you know where you're still going, because I think the other basically kind of people boil down into like 2 general mindsets, and this is how like most people don't get anything done, right? Is like they either stop moving their feet even though they have their eye and they keep their eye down the road, and they're like, oh, I'll be there someday. I'm like, dude, but you ain't going nowhere, you ain't doing anything, you just, that's all you do is talk about that, right? And then there's the other guys who like, yeah, they put one foot in front of the other, but they don't ever look where they're going, and like miles and miles later they're like way off course. Yeah, like, I just kept doing it, and it's like, yeah, dude, but you gotta combine those 2 things, man, because then because honestly it's really that simple. It's not that actually complicated, but that's fucking hard.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of boring days where you want to fucking do some crazy shit.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Persistence is difficult. I mean, if everybody was able to do it, everybody would be. And what's the level of success you're really trying to achieve? I think you said it earlier. Simplifying things and just getting to a point where you can accept maybe what you're already doing. Be okay with that. Like my problem is I always want to do more, and I don't take enough time to like reflect on what I've already.
Sure.
But I think, if you can combine simplicity with a little bit of initiative, integrity, or whatever, you'll be just have an open mindset.
What else you got in the works?
Well, I am building.
Speaking of the future.
Yeah, I'm building a 2-room studio currently, and it's an endeavor because, I mean, for example, the ceiling is 4 layers of sheetrock. It's like in between floor joists, 2 layers, and then I'm putting hat channel up and brilliant clips, and then I'm dropping 2 layers of sheetrock over green glue, loaded vinyl, and rock wool insulation. It's going to be a little overboard for my setup, but it's mainly just for my own personal use.
For what? For drums or what?
Oh, anything. It's going to be soundproof. Period. Because it has to be. Because it's in my house, so like the basement, I got into a new place and it was big enough. I mean, the basement's like, so like I could build 2 rooms, 18 by 18 and I think 14 by 20. But it's just straight up so I can do what I love to do, so that my family isn't a burden to respect, and the respect on their side of it, is to allow me to be able to do hell of a fun burden as well. So to combine all that, and then if I get free time and I still love to record, but I'm not actively, to create more competition for the scene. That's what but yeah, if you get, if I have time and whatnot, and I happen to have this facility, by means, it's going to produce one. So
sick, dude.
Maybe I'll rent it out to people when I don't have.
Yeah,
that'd kind of cool.
That's what you got to do, man. You got to fucking monetize it, dude. It's already there. Make money off it.
Yeah, well,
it's got such like a dirty, that's such a dirty reputation right now. Like the idea of like making money. People are like, how dare you?
Nobody
like,
talks about money.
If you love music, you do it for free. Fuck you.
Nobody talks about money in general. It's not something people like to discuss. But I feel bad because I can say it like that. It frustrates me because in school they don't teach you how to manage your shit. They don't teach you what real life is with financials and like what it's actually going to take. They just say, all right, man, you can do whatever you want, and you can go to anywhere. Oh, by the way, you're going to be paying for that until you're 50. But if they actually taught you these things and allowed you to be realistic with yourself, I think people would be making a lot of different. But to talk about money with people that actually do make it, not one of them, but those that do and are actively talking about it and get that info, you're going to be more apt to do the same yourself. That's why they always say, surround yourself with successful people and whatever the success you're after, whether money or music or whatever. Find the people that are doing it and try to become in their quote inner circle, and you'll find yourself doing it. I'm kind of a loner these days. I got a lot of responsibilities at home and the business and my family. I'm trying to spend a lot of. I got a 2.5-year-old, so it's like an exciting time. And so to get out.
Oh, you got a little kid.
Yeah. And
I know you said you had to pick up the kid, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was that little.
Yeah, he's a little guy, and
so that's how you keep from losing your mind over the winter. You're occupied. You're not.
For sure, and he definitely occupies it. He's full of piss and vinegar, man.
I bet, dude.
He's gonna be great. But
you got him playing any instruments yet?
My profile pic on my personal page is him playing drums on a friggin'
nice
DW. My cousin's got a few kits his place. The old drummer from Demonicon was who they originally were, and they became, or no, they were originally Dominion, and then they became Demonic. When I first moved down to the Metro in like 04 or 05, they were pretty big then, and I haven't heard much about them. Yeah, he's got a big garage full of like drum kits and insane. And I brought my little guy over there, and he's like, "Whoa," you know. Got him playing some. Yeah.
Are you primarily a drummer or a guitar player?
Guitar player. Trying to get better at drums because once the studio's finished, I want to use that for content online. Not only just marketing for like the cables, but I want to do covers. I've always loved drums. I actually technically I started guitar, but I thought I was going to be a drummer. But my parents were like, "Not playing those loud ass things in this," you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I did guitar, and started.
Plus, they're expensive.
Well, yeah. I didn't even buy my first drum set until I was like 18, and then I didn't even play it till I was probably like 25. Just sat in a closet because I lived in an apartment.
Yeah.
But I did buy it from that dude from GC that I can't remember his name of, and he made some damn good money off me.
Probably not, actually, because GC didn't pay people shit.
No, maybe you did because you're the manager.
No.
Probably even worse.
They paid weird. It was like percentages of shit. Like you got a tiny percentage of. It was like 2% of the sale or something like that, or 1% of the sales. It was something like that.
So commission, but not.
And
like
then you got like 8% of the profit.
Okay.
So like, if there is $20 profit, what's 8% of $20? That happened a lot. It's like, dude, I ain't making shit off this. Like, stop.
Yeah, well, there was a revolving door, I think, in that business almost as bad as like restaurants. I always go in there and it'd be different people. But, you know, you still go into some of them and there's some of those same faces still there too. Good mix, right?
Yeah, if you get like a portfolio built, and I don't know, they must figure out ways to pay certain guys, because there was certain guys that were like making good money. And then when you were making really good money, they'd put you into GC Pro.
Okay.
And GC Pro was like a new level. Dude, that shit was crazy, man. You had to be fucking super good.
When you say super good, you mean like able to sell?
Well, your portfolio had to be so good, and your clientele were like primarily national artists and shit, bigger people. And
they would just call you, order specifically, kind of a.
Paul Henry was the best example of that. Yeah, so Paul Henry way back in the day, like, yeah, that was the guy where when Beyonce needed a new set of vocal mics because her rig fried out because of bad power at the last venue, and they were on their way, and you know, it's 32 fucking vocal wireless for her and all her backup vocalists. He's like, I got you.
Yeah, I worked quite a bit with Paul. Bird and I, basically, that was our go-to guy when I was with him.
Yeah, Paul's a shit. He's big time.
And he seemed to know his shit, and he was always very helpful. And you put those two things together, it's pretty powerful.
Thorough. Very thorough.
And then after the sale, he was always good for that too. Often people overlook that, like, oh yeah, I gotta sell, peace out and everything.
Yeah, and that Beyonce story, I think that's actually real. Like, I think that's like a legit story that actually happened.
And then he's no longer, right?
I don't fucking remember, dude. Yeah. I remember he was, and then he wasn't, and then he was, and I don't know if he still is anymore. What else you got on your list over there, man? I think it's awesome that you brought a list.
Well, you know what?
Of shit you wanted to talk about.
It's really not even that. It's just references in case they come up. I don't want to be like, dude, you know that band Etheric? They were killer, but like that one drummer, fuck, I can't remember his name. Like Matt. Oh, Palazzo, for example. He's a great name that I can never remember because he was so short of a stint in that band.
Yeah.
But like insane drummer. Now he's playing like in Alluvial or something. It's just among many others. That's just all it is. It's a reference. But the other cool thing I did bring is if anybody ever gives a shit, that's on the fence now. But I did do some work with a logo revampment. I think Justin, you had on the podcast.
Old Justin Boney.
Yeah, a little reveal of a potential upgrade in the logo. I'm hoping maybe like end
Like
of
a
year.
Kraken.
Yeah. So I got one on my arm, and I love like octopus shit and like murky like.
Why do you like octopus shit?
It's like it's just murk. Like you go out to sea and it's
Why is
dark
that
and
so
this
appealing to
kraken
you,
ass
dude?
shit comes out of the water and eats your freaking ship. It's just brutal, and I just think it's cool. So, anyways, I reached out to Justin. I'm like, hey, I got this goofy ass idea. I want you to take like my name and the kraken and like some pine trees and make a fucking logo.
It has no relation to Tone Vault at all. It's a treasure chest.
Personally it does. Yeah, personally.
It's a treasure chest with 3 for the listeners, because again, we do way better on audio. So for the listeners, it's hilarious. The reason I'm laughing so hard is it has absolutely nothing to do with the words Tone, Vault, Audio, or Media.
Oh, dude.
It is quite literally 3 octopus tentacles coming out of an open treasure chest in front of a silhouette of pine trees.
Heck yeah. Well,
oh my
God. Where did those cables
it's
go?
so funny, dude. Oh, I put them in the other room. You want me to grab them?
No, it's fine. The current logo, it's like Phil Memorial Blake. I have the list.
I don't want to play the sponsor again.
No,
but that's where I have it.
It's fine. Blake.
I don't have anything printed out.
You familiar with Blake at all? Sudath? No. Well, he did the original logo, and it's a box with it's a vault basically, and it's got. Anyways, that's what I had Justin accomplish with the chest, and then I just happened to love octopusy shit, and then pine trees.
Dude, it looks cool as hell. I just think it's hilarious because, like,
it makes no sense, right?
It doesn't make any sense. I would be staring at that logo trying to figure out what am I missing.
Well, in the trees, that's from my first studio days, Northern Vault.
Right, because that's the Northern Vault. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's more for me than anybody else.
I love it, dude. I love it. I think it looks cool as fuck.
It does, man. Like Justin did a hell of a job. He I don't know how he took the goofy shit I asked him for and made it work, but he did. I don't know. I'm thinking 2023.
Did he also bring that up? He's like, this has nothing to do with Tone Vault.
He was very respectful. He's like, he didn't say it.
He wasn't.
But he was thinking it.
He wasn't as outspoken as I am. Is what you're saying?
He's like, what the fuck is this guy asking for? Like, why? How is this gonna work? But he was great.
I think it's cool as fuck. I just thought it was hilarious, dude. That shit had me dying laughing, dude.
It'll make more sense like when I start doing content. I'll leave it at that for now, because there'll be a common theme and a vibe like the videos and the various things. But
I want to redesign my logo. I want a complete rebrand. I think I know what I want, but I'm not 100% certain yet.
Well,
we'll see.
You could always take 3 items that make no sense, put them together.
I'm definitely coming to you first. For logo advice.
For some intent.
For logo advice, first guy I'm calling from now on is Matt Seeley.
Matt Seeley, the logo guy.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to be like, so what would you do? And then he'll describe it to me, and then I'll give that to a graphic design artist, and I'll go, do the opposite of this. I'm just kidding.
Logo consultant. This guy has
go the other
never
way.
had a single client.
No, that's how indecisive I am. It's like fucking that old Family Guy episode where they just like, it was like the 2 beluga whales just randomly picking topics. That's how they did it. Like I'd get you to do it, and then I'd give it to somebody else and go, do the opposite of this. And it's not actually an insult. It's because I don't fucking know. It's just how much random shit. And then when you give it back to me, I'll be like, art. Look how much of a genius I am.
Great.
I directed this.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I do that at work a lot.
I'm the worst when it comes to that shit, dude. We talk about like good and bad names for band names.
Sure.
Like at least that's a fucking great name for a company. Tone Vault, that's dope. It's a good name. It makes sense. It's memorable. It's awesome. Because some of us, we have some stupid ass band names. Me especially too, dude. None of mine have been very good. The only one that was actually cool was the Tyrants. That was the only cool band name I ever had. And that was a rock band. That wasn't even a metal band. But metal band names are so hard to come up with something that's not absolutely terrible.
I love those like Facebook generator name generators. Like name the last like article of underwear you had on,
Yeah.
and combine that with like the middle name of whatever your second pet that you ever owned.
Band names in general are hard.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you got to start doing shit like that. Like you just fucking start doing random
14
shit.
clicks.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
I got to tell you how we
That's
got
not
it.
a
It was
good
a horrible band name. So I shouldn't say was, because technically it's sort of still, in a way, still active, even though none of us are doing anything. But we couldn't figure a name out, and we're tracking, like, you remember MySpace? Anybody remember
Of course.
We're tracking 4 MySpace, right? Three songs, and we're not paying attention to the metronome's going still, and it's just clicking away. And then like somebody chimed up, I don't know if it was Dave or Russ, but he's like, I'm pretty sure I just counted like 14 clicks before, us, whoever we were or what we were doing, we were paying attention to it, and that ended up being the influence for the band name. That's how horrible it was, because we just couldn't decide.
Yeah.
Like, all right, 14 clicks, that's a band name. Let's move on.
Dude, and it's always like that, man. It's always either one guy has a bad idea and that just is the name of the band because he put out the ad, or you stumble into something stupid because you can't make up your mind like that, right? Or my favorite is what usually happens is the desperation. They're so desperate for a band name, they start because I've been in those arguments, in those conversations, where you will start rationalizing some dumb ideas just to come up with
no, dude, we want this name.
Soul Harvest.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I Am Vengeance was that way a little bit. I mean, I know that the influence came
that
from
one's actually not bad. That one actually makes sense, especially in the metalcore era when you had phrases,
Yeah.
Like that was a big one.
Muschetti's band after he was in Martyr, I think, was
oh, and it's an even cooler name now that it's a Batman phrase.
I am vengeance, I am the night, or whatever.
Yeah, in the new movie.
Yeah, if you search I am vengeance, that's what all comes up. It's
right.
But I think it was one of the tracks on one of his previous bands' CDs or something. So it wasn't like something we really out of nowhere came up with. Still was a reference because we were basically desperate, if I recall correctly, to have a band name.
That one's actually not bad though. That one's actually it's actually kind of a good band name.
Well, and knowing him and knowing like the band, the song title "I Am Vengeance" from his previous band, like that probably a badass lyrical.
Right.
If you've ever seen him like play, that dude is just in it, and he's gonna slay like everybody in the room.
Yeah.
And so I am vengeance. I just imagine back then he was just slaying. That dude's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I feel like metalcore names saved a lot of bands from having even worse band names. Because they were at least cool for a while, like after the Burial started it all, or at least in my eyes.
That was an interesting one too. Like,
and remember, it was like Buried by this or Buried by Hope. That was another local band. That was pretty decent.
Sure.
One. But then even like the national levels, like Between the Buried and Me, and,
one of my favorite bands,
and Every Time I Die, and
You Will Know Us by the Trail of the Dead.
Yeah.
Like what?
I wrestled a bear once.
Yeah, right.
Some of them just became full-blown sentences and phrases.
Exactly. Like I felt bad for the, graphic designer on half of their shit, Can't be any worse than taking 3 items and putting them together in a logo, I suppose.
Because what genre do you think had the worst for naming bands? Because think about it, dude. Like
Russian techno.
No, get out of here, man. Get out of here, dude. I'm talking about so think about every decade for the longest time, every decade had a sound for the most part, or at least maybe it had 2 sounds, like a rock side and a pop side or whatever. And then that was true until basically 2010. Okay. Which genre or what decade had the worst band names of all time?
Oh man,
Like, I bet you they got really bad in the 90s.
I was gonna
and
say
we don't
that.
even know about it.
That was what I would have said first, just because the 80s, like, I felt were cheesy, but like the fans wanted that cheese, whereas the 90s was like the fuck you, I'm gonna do grungy, like whatever against the grain kind of shit. And so it's just gonna automatically be probably not
because
mainstream.
new metal definitely got pretty bad.
That's bad in general. But I would have said the 90s.
It's gotta be, right?
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some examples.
I can't think of any examples either, but that's because I listened to good music in the 90s.
That's a great point. No, it's all relative. I mean, it's, we're all going to have what we think is good. And what I think cables are badass, but if you go on the internet, it's all relative.
Well, apparently one guy thought it was a coffee cup, so he's going to be impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And here you are with a coffee cup.
Well,
like a Jay Leno prop. I love it.
It's follow through, right? I do listen to the customer.
I thought it was fucking hilarious when you sat down and you're like, dude, I brought a prop. And I was like, oh, fuck, what? And I turn around and you're sitting here with this Jay Leno style coffee cup. Yep. I love it. I thought it was great.
I'll even leave it here for you in case somebody wants a cup of coffee on your show.
That's genius. I'll put it up there on the bar.
Fuck yeah.
Because I don't have any true coffee cups up there. I have like bar glasses for beer mostly. Mostly just beer.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we got to start brewing some beer. I finally got the TV over there. I got to figure out how I want to get it wired.
What
and then I'm going to run
like?
cameras over there.
Like, you just film the process?
Yeah. Yeah, because basically, like, good couple hours of fucking doing dumb shit and hanging out, usually drinking some beer. I could turn it into another version of the podcast where I could have a buddy over and we can talk and shit, or I could just do. I'm probably gonna do it on like Patreon, because I'm making extra content for not just this, I think that's the one I'm going to do just on Patreon.
I think that'd be sweet. I've always wanted to learn how to do that, but of course, not drinking beer with alcohol kind of is to justify. Learn how to do it. But
you don't drink beer?
I drink beer, just non-alcoholic. So there's that, I don't know what extra process to cook it out of there, but yeah, I love beer so much I couldn't stop drinking it.
Yeah, the getting rid of the alcohol, it's weird. It's because it's basically, there's a couple different ways of doing it, but yeah, I'm not sure how you would do it efficiently.
First, you got to get over the mindset of why the hell would you do that to yourself? Why would you want to remove the booze?
Well, and you can never get rid of all of it. You're just getting rid of most of it.
Yeah.
And so you're basically just boiling it off, and then you'd probably just be adding water. But it's hard to control because you're just going to keep.
Well, like in the restaurant, we would cook. If we had like a whiskey sauce, we would just boil it, in a little container until it, for a certain temperature or whatever the stipulation was, and then it was considered alcohol. So it had the substance. I assume beer.
Yeah, but then you'll change the.
Exactly.
There's so much going on there. Like, it's not that hard, but I'm thinking as a home brewer is how you would do it at scale. Like, this wouldn't be efficient.
Yeah, and you nailed it though. You change the flavor to the point where there ain't a lot of non-alcoholic beers that are overly enjoyable. I've had a couple that are good that,
O'Doul's.
You know what? O'Doul's ain't too bad. You try all the others and then you end up going back to it. But weirdly enough, when I drank alcoholic beverages for years, everybody that would bring up like Busch or Busch Light, I'd just rip on them like, I'll piss water, like drink the real shit. And now that I drink non-alcoholic beer,
and then pull out an O'Doul's.
Yeah, right. Well, I do now. See, that's the thing. Like,
that's hilarious.
Busch actually makes one of the more, if you want a light beer, like on a summer day, they're one of the more actual beer tasting non-alcoholic beers they make. Weirdly enough, you'll see me sitting there with a fucking Busch that I gave everybody shit about for so many years, But I don't know, Heineken's still the best flavor, I think, because it actually.
That's what I've heard is Heineken out of the like light ones. It actually still tastes
It
like
tastes like
beer.
a lager, you know. The only
That's
thing
what
with
I
that
heard.
is it's almost like drinking a Coke. Like your teeth feel, after about 3 of them, your teeth feel like they got a coating on sugary or something.
Yeah.
Whereas like your O'Doul's or Bush or they don't give you that effect. But like all the rest of them, they just taste like water. And you know, in my opinion, there's some IPAs coming out that are cool, but
Yeah, I had a couple when I was doing my sober October. I had a couple, and man, they are fucking dehydrating, dude. I drank 2 of them, and I was like, oh my god, I'm thirsty. And I drank like 2 bottles of water after 2 beers. What the fuck is going on?
which is weird because you'd think regular beer would be much worse considering the alcohol content would promote
Yeah, but I think when
dehydration.
they're trying to do the IPA, they have to cram
Oh.
so much more flavor, and so they so
IPA
many hops
specifically.
in there and like other shit in there to try to like offset it without the alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fucking dehydrated. Fucking crazy. Nuts. Oh man, I'm getting thirsty just thinking about it.
Crack a beer, man.
But no, my advice to people, dude, is fucking fuck them non-alcoholic beers. Just drink soda.
or water.
It's like you're spending because they're just as expensive as real beers. It's dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been good for me for a lot of reasons, mainly because I'm so much more productive. I feel. Plus, you know, I do drink more water or something else now.
Oh, and I'm only talking about like the IPAs and shit.
Being
That's what
dehydrating.
like the Heinekens and those kind of O'Doul's and shit. Cool, drink those. I get it. That's a little different vibe. But if you're trying to like drink beer but you don't want alcohol, don't try to get into the IPAs and shit. They're just like, just drink pop. Just drink sodas.
Sure. Or entire bottles of whiskey.
That's what you drink?
Used to.
You don't drink no more? How
No.
come you quit drinking?
Just because I felt like shit. I had too much responsibility, too many things, too many irons in the fire, and I felt myself at 8 o'clock every night with a new son, like not able to like be busy enough to keep on keeping on. You know.
Yeah.
I wasn't as responsible. I guess maybe I didn't feel like I could tackle all my tasks and be a parent level that I needed to be.
Yeah.
Just decided to try to call it quits, and it's been a long time. I guess one foot in front of the other, right?
Yeah. You just gotta fucking really, it really is that simple, dude.
It's simple, but it's hard. I mean, that's human condition.
It's hard.
It's
I
hard.
finally heard the Minnesota accent pretty rough right there.
Yeah, I could be a voiceover artist for Fargo.
So there now you got me. Now you got me in it. So you're talking about the bars right
Yeah,
there, bud. And so when's the last time you've been out to the bars and seen some of the bands there? There's some pretty good bands out there, bud.
They actually playing in bands or bars again these days?
Bars are playing in bands. Bands are playing in bars. Men's are in women's.
I haven't been to a live show, dude, it's been a long time.
It's gonna get real interesting real quick, dude. Do you hear what happened? So you now need, for basically any public gathering,
I know where you're going.
bars, restaurants, whatever,
Vaccination?
you need proof of vaccination or proof of a recent negative test.
So it's that same like governmental order for like businesses and what. Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is like they might as well just shut it down because nobody's gonna do that. It's not you can't effectively do that because you can have a vaccination card and still be carrying the thing.
Right. Yeah, no, that's
like
very,
you can be
very
vaccinated and still have it, and you're still gonna let people in. There's no way of policing this thing.
making proof.
The only way you can do it is if you somehow make it easy to hand out reliable rapid tests. You test your thing. If you have the antibodies, you're good.
Right.
That's the only reasonable way to do this. Because then it doesn't matter whether you were vaccinated or you got over it naturally. Maybe you were asymptomatic and you never knew you had it, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you still test purple or whatever, cool. But there's no efficient way. There's no efficient or effective way you can do this, dude. And it's gonna destroy shit. It's gonna cause conflicts that the bars and restaurants don't want to have to fucking enforce.
Yeah, politics and religion weren't enough.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be so stupid. The police are already stretched thin enough.
Right.
In the middle of the winter, like people, it's never gonna work. Whether you
Yeah.
agree with it or not, it's not gonna work. You can't, and that's one of those old points of wisdom is like if you can't effectively enforce a law, you have no business passing that law. Because now you're just laying down arbitrary laws on the books where you can start hamstringing anybody you want at any time because there's enough laws out there where we can do some.
Yeah,
It's like an ethical, philosophical problem.
I think it goes a little both ways these days because it's easy to hamstring, but it's also easy to stand up, and a way to voice yourself against it too. And so you're always going to so much separation reading. Whole different subject and theme, but yeah, it's going to be difficult to get over a lot of the things that we're dealing with these live shows, man.
They're going to be done again for a while.
Yeah, probably so. We'll see. Yeah, when was the last time you saw a show?
I've been going quite a bit.
You've been going?
I've been going quite a bit, yeah.
Good for you.
And there's some fucking good young bands out there, dude. They really are, man.
Kind of talking about that when we were talking on the phone last. You got a lot of people in that. I've been so focused on the business. I've been out of the music set. Excited to kind of dabble and dive in a little bit, get a little breath of fresh air. Hopefully, be able to see the show.
Well, bad timing now, brother.
Yeah, well, that's the story of my life.
Because they were just starting to pick back up, like bands were starting to regularly get out there again. You were starting to see things start to make sense. Like people are trying to do it. You even see like shows at venues where it's like somebody doesn't know what they're doing, whether it's the person that's, and I'm not smart enough to know all this shit. I know a general idea, but it's like something about the science of this room, right? Speaker placement, maybe there's a wall, something's in or out of phase. I don't fucking know, but this sounds like shit. Like this room ain't sound treated right. This is a terrible fucking room.
Sure.
Or they figured out how to simulate this room when it's full of people.
Yeah.
Which it's not. So now it sounds like like Station 4 was like that. Station 4 sounded like trash unless it was full. You remember that though?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Station 4 sounded incredible when it was full during the headliner, but when it was empty for the opening band, it sounded horrible, dude.
There's a little bit that goes into that too, just opener versus headline.
True.
Plus like front versus the back. I know that venue specifically because it's long. When you were out in the back, and especially if I think it was Anthony working.
That name sounds right.
Sounded amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it had its moments.
U.S. Bank Stadium's like that.
I hear
it's horrible. Unless you're right in front of one of the line arrays.
How do you build that place?
They wanted it to be loud for football.
Right. I suppose that's the money maker, not live shows for them.
Right.
I mean, I have to assume that.
There's so much fucking concrete and flat. There's so many. I'm like, again, I don't actually know, but there's so many flat walls and there's so much concrete in that building. It's like it's horrible unless you're right in front of the line array. It's crazy how bad. And I seen Metallica there. It was fucking sold out.
I heard that was pretty shitty sounding.
Unless you were right in front. Luckily, our seats were directly in front of one of the line arrays. We were in one of those, not a suite, but one of those club areas.
Mm.
And it was pointed right fucking at us. Luckily. We got lucky. Not a club either. It was like a balcony-ish area. I don't know. There's only 12 seats in that little area. They would have been fucking crazy good seats if it would have been a Viking.
Yeah.
But
how about a good sounding venue? What comes to mind?
The Armory's pretty dope, dude. The Armory might be the best venue in town. Like, how would you rate that? Like, per 500 people, per 1,000 people? You know how they like measure fighters pound for pound?
Yeah, I don't know.
However you measure a venue like that, I think it might be the Armory, dude.
Not overly familiar with the Armory, to be honest. I think that was kind of an establishment that came around right as I was kind of not playing shows anymore and readily able to go to shows. Because that's a fairly new venue, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It's dope, dude.
I've heard that.
And so far, everybody I've seen there, the tickets were super reasonable.
Really?
Yeah, the tickets weren't overly priced.
Well, it's just good to still have a venue. I know they get shut down left and right. Like, seems like flies drop.
The Myth was dope. I thought the Myth sounded good.
In comparison to, like, say, your First Ave.
First Ave is always obvious. I just didn't want to say the fucking
right
first base pleb answer. You know, of course, First Ave, but yeah, because the Target Center is dope, but it's not. I don't know.
Is it mainly hockey that you watch there, or
Target Center?
Yeah, or bands?
That's fucking. It's Target Center's. That's basketball and concert. That's their main deal. Basketball and concert. That's the Excel. The Excel's good. That's probably for a big venue. That's probably the best venue. Sure. Is the Excel. Because I've seen a lot of shit at the Excel Center, and that's a great music venue.
Yeah, I like how it's, close knit and like still feels small even though it's still big.
Yeah, 18,000 for hockey. I wonder how many they get in there for concert. Then you can open up the floor.
Right.
Probably 25, maybe. I don't know. How many? Jesus Christ, I wonder what that would be.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm trying to think of the last band I saw there. Probably like Steel Panther. You ever listen to that band?
Yeah, I have their fucking record somewhere around here.
Genius band. You can pay like all the members in that band to like say shit, like do business videos.
Do you remember when that dude got in trouble with the Me Too shit, sexism and all that shit? So he didn't really get Me Too. It's fucking hilarious, man. They didn't get him. They didn't get him. He got them. So
sounds about right.
He had a deal with, I think it was like TC Helicon or something, like TC Electronics.
Oh, electronics, yeah.
One of the pedal companies, and the pedal was called Panty Dropper.
Oh.
And they freaked out, man. They were so upset that this dude had this pedal named, it had rape culture and all that, right?
Oh.
So they got together and they rebranded it and they put the pedal out again, and it was called the Pussy Melter.
Jesus. Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Satchel. That's who it was. Satchel from Steel Panther. I love those guys.
Yeah,
they're the funniest guys in the game. They're the funniest
very
band in the
game. Among talented.
Penny Dropper to Pussy Melter, like you should have just left it alone. Like you thought it was offensive, so they made it so much worse. I love Steel Panther.
Yeah, I do too. They made like that butt rock, modern for me.
Yeah.
That whole just, I don't care. I can do what I want. Really revamped that. I don't go to that extreme. Yeah, you should hire like Satchel intro or something.
Oh, dude, I would do that.
It's only a couple $100.
What?
Yeah. Maybe for the business side it would be, but I know for like, you could tell him to like.
You're talking on like a cameo?
Yeah. You just send him some shit and he like sits there and reads, hey, so-and-so, like,
oh my God.
You're going to slay so much this and that when you get older.
No, I got to get him on video.
But it is a video that I can see the wheels turning.
Yeah, I'm getting ideas, man. I got to be careful though, otherwise I'm going to want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
But,
all right. You're
you know what I
supporting
mean?
an artist.
No, I
and-
think this new version of the intro, when we build a real intro for the first time, I think it should be little snips and audio clips from the guests that have already been on for real.
Yeah,
And then we'll roll with that for a while.
almost like social content
Sort of.
testimony.
It's
in a
my
way.
shit. Well, just like dumbass things, dumbass
Right.
shit we've said.
Right.
Do a quick little montage, a little 10, 20-second montage. Bang, bang, in, out.
Right.
Who's your daddy?
I think you just
Bing
nailed
bong.
it.
Fuck your life. What do you want to tell Joe Biden right now?
Oh boy, let's go, Brandon. Oh man, I've been seeing a lot of those bumper stickers. You know the story of the "Let's Go, Brandon" deal?
Oh yeah, explain to people. I gotta piss. Tell people exactly the story behind that and how it came to be for anybody that doesn't understand what "Let's Go Brandon" actually means
Well,
and why it's hilarious, regardless of whether anybody's offended. Because you explain it while I go piss.
I'll do my best because I'm definitely not privy to like modern social media effects of politics, but basically, in a nutshell, I want to say there was somebody just like a crowd's like chanting "F Joe Biden" basically, and either way you want about that, but this kid like reacted and he thought that they were all saying let's go Brandon, and if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but he basically stated that he was on air or something and somebody caught it on video, so now everybody basically says F Biden through this statement, and you're starting to see it on bumper stickers and various things, and I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Takes the hate away and makes it a little more intellectual, if you will, in my opinion. But my favorite was the little kid doing like a he was on the news getting interviewed for like he was dressed as a zombie and he was getting interviewed talking about Halloween, and then they're talking to him and next thing he says is what the hell did he say? The zombie kid on the news. He's like, I like turtles.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I think about "Let's Go Brandon." I think of it similar. I don't know. I think it's great.
Yeah. So what was happening is there was so people had been chanting "Fuck Joe Biden" at sporting events for a while, and they were doing it at a NASCAR event. And this kid named Brandon had just won his first
that
race.
Was his name.
And the girl was interviewing him on the track, and the video shows them screaming "Fuck Joe Biden" in the background, and she's interviewing the kid named Brandon, and she turns around and she goes, and the crowd is even cheering "Let's go Brandon." How do you feel about that? And no one knows if she actually thought they were saying "Let's go Brandon" or if she was trying to think on her feet and
She's
cover.
Just genius.
And you know what I mean, dude? But that shit caught it, dude. It became so fucking funny that people just started saying it, and I'll just say "Fuck Joe Biden," dude. Like I don't need to say "Let's go Brandon," dude.
Yeah. I'm not.
I don't like any of them motherfuckers, dude.
I'm not for nor against. I'm pretty neutral.
I haven't voted for a winning president, and I don't know how goddamn knows long. I've been voting libertarian, a bunch of losers, and
right. No,
it's more of a protest vote, dude.
Right, just not the two.
Yeah,
that's typically, honestly, I think what
I know they're not going to win,
right?
But I'm not going to be a part of the machine,
right? The sheep.
I just refuse to be a part of your little political experiment, voting yes or no, red or blue. That. But I want to vote, so
yeah, exercise the right. But
look how wise I am.
In a way,
man,
right?
I'm so smart and such a deep thinker.
Privy to the world, as it seems.
Wasting my vote. Oh, look how impactful I am.
Yeah, well,
whatever. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. It's a foolish move either way. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't.
It's kind of like having kids. There's so many people that say the world's overpopulated, but we're kind of fucking the world up, right?
Well,
So
Corona's taking care of that.
you got to have
1
kids
month at a time.
so that somebody's around to save it. You know?
5 soccer players at a time.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. Yeah, it's a crazy thing out there. I don't know, man.
Vaxxed or not, you're going to die.
Some way, yeah.
Right? Like that's, I mean, come on, man. Let's get on with our lives. Let's all do some mushrooms, make some music.
What, have you heard that band? I keep seeing it pop up. Moonlit Mushroom.
No.
Uh,
I just wanted to think about it for a second. No, I haven't.
That's genius. I see.
You ever done mushrooms?
Haven't. Oh.
That'll fix any problem you got, buddy.
You know, I weirdly enough, I always thought it would be interesting. I always thought it'd be interesting to, separate myself from myself and look at myself and kind of try to almost judge myself.
Bro, if you try to do that shit the first time, you're gonna be in a giggle fest. You're like,
I'll be in the corner, like scared out of my mind, probably.
No.
The world's ending.
Just don't do too much, dude. Just do start off the very first time you do like a half eighth. Just be a normal fucking person. Do like a half eighth. It's just over a gram. You just fucking, have a little giggle fit for a couple hours and you'll be fine. Wait a week and then do a whole eighth. And then you'll be fine.
Boom, you'll know who you are. Yeah.
And then if that's not good enough, then do a quarter and you go talk to God.
Or think
7 grams.
Or think you died.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want to do, man.
Man, yeah. Well, I'll let you know how that goes.
There's a place I can refer you to in Jamaica. We'll do a guided trip for you.
You know, what'd be neat is
stay down there.
Do the
get yourself a shaman.
Do they have like a luminescent bay in Jamaica where you touch
do.
the water and the shit lights up? Can you imagine combining
like
those
that.
two? Did that in Puerto Rico, little island of Vieques.
Yeah.
My wife had family down there and we stayed.
Dude, you wouldn't even need bioluminescent water if you were on mushrooms. You would just need fucking green LEDs shining down onto the water and your brain would do the rest.
Or not even that. It would just be there anyways.
You'd have to do a lot for it to just appear out of nowhere.
I remember I was vacuuming the floor. Or no, what the hell was going on? I was at an ex-girlfriend's house way long time. And one of her roommates comes out of the kitchen with a vacuum and she's vacuum over here. Gnomes running around. I don't want to kill any gnomes. And that's kind of when I was like,
that's more like, to me that's more like acid. That sounds more like an acid trip because mushrooms are like very chill.
Yeah.
Like you don't really see shit like that. Like not that kind of hallucination. Like shit'll move and wiggle on you and like fucking fuck with you a little bit, but nothing like that.
Nothing like out of nowhere creating.
I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but I've never experienced anything like that. But on acid, however, no, on acid, fucking you see some wild shit that is definitely not.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what. You have a 2-year-old wake up on 1 hour of sleep about a week and a half. Get about the same experience. Holy shit.
I want to do the sleep deprivation shit. Or not sleep deprivation, the sensory deprivation tank.
Oh, good. I thought you were talking
tanks.
About like hanging upside down and having somebody strangle you out or something. We're not talking about
the float
that.
tanks.
Oh,
the
yeah.
float tanks.
Yeah.
I want to do something like that and do that on mushroom.
So, what was the show that did that? Like The Fringe or Fringe?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
she like do some acid and sit in a barrier?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, she seemed very enlightened afterwards.
Yeah, she went to another world.
Literally, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit I'm talking about.
Again, you let me know how that goes.
I will.
Do they even like have that shit around here?
The sensory deprivation tanks?
Yeah, the tanks, not the.
I think so. I think so. But I want to know. I want to know what the rules are first, man. Because like, how long can I rent it out?
That's why I gotta build one on my own because I don't want them to like open it up while I'm on mushrooms and I'm just in there like jacking off and shit. Like having an experience and shit, forgetting. Just like, because they give you headphones and you can listen to music if you want, right? But it's you can't hear shit, you can't see shit, and you're completely buoyant, right? So like,
that'd be
at
weird.
some point in time, I'm just worried that I'd forget I was in public and I'd start jacking off or something, dude. Because like, what if you really do go that deep? Especially if I took mushrooms first and there's music in there. I'm in there just like, oh.
I think that's a whole different. That's a whole different podcast in itself, I think.
Oh my god, dude. I wouldn't even be that embarrassed. I'd be laughing so hard I wouldn't be able to get out.
You know, that kind of reminds me. They have so your periodic chamber. What do you call it? Baryotic?
Hyperbaric?
Yeah, hyperbaric.
Wait, what? That's where they like depressurize it or something.
So
or
like
healing or something.
over in South Minneapolis, Four Corners area, there's a place where you can go and it's like completely down where you can't hear anything. Enter it in heartbeat.
Yeah.
I've been told that's similar, where like it can only last a certain few minutes before you just start to freak.
Oh, you're
out.
talking about like those like truly silent rooms and shit. Yeah, and like
I wonder what that'd be like.
guys have gone in there and they say there's two sounds you can hear, and they found out one of them is your heartbeat, or not your heartbeat. The heartbeat is obvious. It's your blood flowing through your veins, and then the other one was like your fucking something else. Yeah, so, like you can hear the smallest shit. It was pretty spooky. I watched the whole thing on that.
I'm lactose intolerant. I can't imagine if I drank a bunch of milk and then went in one of them. I'd be like, kinds of weird. It'd be horrible.
I thought I swallowed a living creature today because it was like calling out from my stomach on rhythm. It sounded kind of like a frog. It was like, wah, wah.
Trying to figure out before you said that what you meant. Yeah, our bodies are goofy things. Right?
It was weird, dude. It was super weird.
Did you ever have like experiences with your, I don't know if I should ask this question, but like experiences with your body when you're on stage playing a show that you can remember that wasn't a good experience? Like for example, my first show I played drums on, my feet went fucking numb. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Or you see like videos of drummers like projectile vomiting while they're freaking playing, but keep going. You got anything like?
Both of those have happened to me.
Oh,
not the foot going to sleep. So one time, and these actually might even be related. There's a very small chance it's even the same show, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's separate shows. One time I was playing, because I definitely puked more than once. One time I was playing, I was just sick, but I wanted to do the show. I wasn't going to not do the show. And I had to run off stage and puke. And then there was another show where I don't know if I was dehydrated or what the deal was, but there was a big crowd and we were pushing really hard. And yeah, dude, I pushed myself to the point of exhaustion where I puked. I had to run off stage, puke in a garbage can, run back on. And then there was I remember distinctly one time when I was really young, I used to jump a lot as a lead singer, jump around and shit. I was really crazy.
Yeah, because I forget you were a vocalist for a while.
Yeah, dude. And one time I jumped up in the air and my fucking both calves cramped up on me.
Ugh.
In midair.
Ugh.
And when I hit the ground, I just kind of like fell.
Yeah.
And I had to like crawl over to the side of the stage while my buddy Johnny, actually, you remember Johnny Weathern from 14 Clicks, actually. What I don't remember what they changed their band name to. Stupid, but he actually helped me I was massaging one of my calves while he was massaging the other one, so I could fucking get back up there and finish the set. And then every time I'd like move or try to like do anything, That calf would lock up. Dude, it was horrible.
And that was with Dying Euphoria.
Probably Solace and Ashes.
Okay.
Maybe 7 Months of Nothing. That specific one was probably Solace. That kind of shit would happen every few years.
Man, yeah, it's just a testament though that like people go through that shit. I mean, there's the famous one is like the Dave Grohl breaks his leg and finishes the show, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it sucks. It's hard enough to like remember your parts, you know, like put the work to get up there, and then something stupid like that. My numb legs experience. We were playing the Rock and some big national. I think it was like Five Finger Punch or something. It went through the night prior. The sun, basically, the sound system was already set up. So I got to play drums on the freaking setup that they got to play on. I mean, I remember thinking the kick and the snare, the whole Rock, like jumped in the air when you hit the kick drum. It was just the most impressive feeling. And then after about 30 seconds, both feet were numb. And I played the whole set, like, without feeling it. It was the worst.
Did it sound good, though?
Fuck, yeah. It was so good that there was way more double bass in our set. Horribly done, because I mean, I still can't play it very well, but back then I could way worse, but way more than the set actually should have had. But it was so badass that I had to keep playing it.
Dude, do you remember the first time you played on stage, a real stage with a real sound system, and you felt the whole band for the first time for real? Like, even if you had good gear and you were doing it in your basement, you can kind of feel it in your chest and shit. But like on a real stage where it like is shaking it and shit, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. That is like probably the closest thing where your first time experiencing that is one thing. That's probably the closest thing to it. But the first time you do it as a drummer on one of those stages, and you like start playing, dude, and the whole fucking thing starts moving, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I remember that back in the day, like as you were describing that. Like, oh god, I remember not my feet going numb or anything, but all of a sudden having to adjust to like my fucking snare drums kind of moving,
right?
You know, like everything's
kind of moving
riser
a little bit. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, or just it's so fucking loud, you know, and like the band starts going like this and shit, you know, like,
thinking you're like gonna fall over or getting a severe.
Like, oh fuck, dude, and like just keeping your shit, just keeping your cool and playing your parts, and eventually you just get used to it, and it's just kind of like part of the deal, but. Because almost all the stages moved a little bit. At least that drum riser did.
Yeah, you almost felt like you're a liquid. You know?
A little bit.
One of the neatest things I ever saw or came across, we had a session at Winterland, and one of the, I don't remember, it was like Kenny Arnoff or who came through there, but he had like what they called a butt shaker on the seat, on the throne.
To kick him in the ass when he hit the kick drum?
Yeah, it had a mic in the kick drum. Maybe it wasn't Kenny, because it was on a kit that was gigantic, and I don't remember Kenny having that weird kit, but it was a mic, and it had like a speaker, like a heavy ass mount on it, and it would literally just bump you every time you hit. Because you know you're playing drums, you can't hear nothing sometimes.
Right.
You know, it would just kick you straight in the ass, and it was a motivator, man. But that's I guess how I would describe at least my experience. I mean, playing guitar is one thing, and hearing the band. But when you get behind a drum kit, it's such a neat experience if you have a good sound system and a good sound engineer. Especially side house, you know, it's
yeah, because you don't even have to have great drums.
No,
you can have just like,
shit.
Go to Guitar Center. It's like a $500 holiday system kit pack, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it's everything you need except sticks and probably heads. Maybe even shitty heads are on there. You probably need better heads, but still.
Well, and live's, you know, so forgiving.
I've seen a lot of those bands where all of a sudden it's like the band sounds great. Like you wouldn't know that's a fucking $500 per export or whatever the fuck it was.
Correct. And I'm sure some would say I'm not correct here, but in my experience, live is forgiving more so than, you know, studio. You know, studio's a little more
definitely.
Intimate. But what I mean by that, though, I mean, it takes a great engineer out there, a live sound guy, you know, to achieve it. But yes, you can bring the shittiest of the shit and still get something that motivates people, you know. And I guess anybody will say, anybody can say similar things about the studio side, but I maybe just have never been able to get proficient enough to make shit sound super amazing in a studio in comparison to,
Yeah.
And I'm not a very good live engineer, but there's a lot of good ones. Like Anthony's a great example from Station 4.
I know exactly what
guy,
you mean, though. I'm in the same boat, dude. Like, I can get my guitar to sound great. I can put this microphone in front of my guitar, and I can sound. I'm like, that sounds pretty good, but it doesn't sound as good as it did in the real world.
Right.
And I do not know how to get it to, because I should even be able to technically make it sound better. Like, I should be able to take that great guitar tone that I have and make it sound even crazier, but I don't know how to do that shit, dude.
Yeah, well,
it's a whole nother skill set. It's a whole other talent tree, if you're speaking in RPG terms. Like,
talent tree, yes.
It's a whole different talent tree, bro.
The attribution, attribute.
But then just being a good engineer is also its own skill set, and that's why you have engineers and producers.
Correct.
With great bands, is because if you're a truly great producer isn't actually going to be that great of an engineer.
Well, they have to focus on different things.
Right.
So you got it's business is similar. I mean, if the entrepreneur or founder has got like the big picture of where the ship is headed, and then you have your engineers that are actually doing the grunt work and making shit happen and accomplishing tasks. So it's similar.
Yeah, and the band's just kind of providing the map.
Right. Well, they're the front line, really in the trenches, making sure that the ideas and the direction are getting accomplished. It's interesting if you think about it that way. And a lot of bands don't. They don't know who to go to or who to talk to or who's going to influence them in the right way to advance themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I mean, I've learned that through this business too, and I don't know, man. But it's exciting. Like, whether it's music or business, it's what keeps me going. I think there's a lot of Minneapolis has such an incredible musical situation. So obviously, there's a lot of other people that feel that way too. That or they're just savants and they just wake up and they're geniuses and can make the right decisions and play their instruments perfectly. I doubt that.
There's very few. George Michael is actually like that, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, George Michael kind of just came in and
gotta have faith, George Michael.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't actually play any of the instruments.
Not the Fred Durst George Michael or gotta have faith.
Right. For real though.
Huh.
For real though, he just kind of came in and like told people what he wanted, and they made his thing. I think that was even before he ended up in Wham.
Prince, right? I think he's probably in a similar vein.
Yeah, except he actually played all the instruments.
Well, yeah.
That's all I meant.
True.
And that takes years, even if you're a fucking true genius like he was, even if it only takes you a month or two to figure out each instrument, that still takes a long time. This dude,
imagine.
And then writing the songs, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of daunting when you say it like that, but we got a lot of people in the scene that are doing it, and they're doing it really damn well. It's cool that you got this going, that you can get people together to talk about their effort.
Thanks, dude. I mean, and that's what it's really about, dude. I could have done a podcast where it was just me yelling at the TV screen. Like, I could have done that, but it made more sense to do the Rogan style thing, dude.
Sure.
Talk to other people, collaborate with other people,
Sure.
It's a lot more interesting to have those conversations, at least in my mind. I don't like listening to myself talk that much. Jesus Christ.
I would have never, no. No, that's cool. At the end of the day, too, like I always say this in the business side of things, the more people I talk to, the more doors seem to kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
And so any effort, and with COVID and all the recent few years, it seems like we're all kind of secluding ourselves. And it's just a detriment to the effort of the musical community, right? In theory. I mean, I could be wrong, but you put those two things in the same sentence, it just seems like that would be the case. So for guys like yourself, bringing people together, I don't see why that just can't help. And we got so much talent, man. I mean, they've said that for years about Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
But yet, do you
somewhere
know
between a farm and a factory out here. It really is.
But do you know a lot of people though that or have made it though and are huge. Not really, right? You got a couple here and there.
The ones that stay here and claim to be from here, very few and far between. But there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of actors, writers, directors, musicians that go to LA or New York,
leave basically,
and make it from out there.
Sure.
And then it's just later you find out, oh, that person's from Alexandria. Oh, that person's from Stillwater, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'd be fucking surprised how many of. But
Yeah,
the ones we get credit for, what, 4? There's 5 big ones maybe. So you've got, not in any particular order, maybe chronologically, you got Dylan, Prince, Soul Asylum, Head Charge, ATV, Trampled by Turtles. Those are the big ones, the big name.
Soul Asylum. What about Semisonic? Remember those guys? Closing Time?
Are they from here?
I believe so. Pretty damn sure. We had a restaurant growing up. We'd always play Closing Time at the end of the night.
Do you know what that song's actually about?
I guess I'd be lying if I told you yes right now.
Childbirth. It's
Okay.
like, apparently if you listen to the second verse, it all makes sense or some shit. I don't know. I heard him talking about it on the right radio a while back. Peanut, will you get done? Somehow the dogs got loose and got down here.
I thought you were playing footsie with me, but it was just the dogs.
Yeah, it's my dogs.
I'm like, hey. Interesting.
What time is it? 3:20. Well, let's wrap this up, dude.
Yeah.
Where can people go check your shit out? What's the name of your website?
Tone-vault.com. You want to try the discount with the podcast here? It's tone-vault.com/JSE.
JSE. Oh, yeah. And then the code is 15singer.
Correct. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Go get your cables.
You can do either on Amazon or off Amazon, depending on what your preference is. If you're a Prime member or something, you get it in a couple of days. But usually, like, if you're off Amazon, we try to compete just so that you don't have a preference. But yeah, check it out. Otherwise, the main site's tone-vault.com, and that has not only the product side of it, but also the studio side, too, if you ever are curious to inquire about that as well.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be doing sound panels or something like that soon, too?
Weirdly enough, it's funny you brought that up. I actually just got a commission to do this weekend. I'm going to be putting something together for a guy and delivering hopefully Monday or Wednesday. So, yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a while, but again, it takes time.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it at scale by any means, but yeah, anything that can help out the tone, of whatever you're trying to achieve, your mixes or your live sound, whatever.
Sound control is huge, dude.
I'm into it.
You don't have to soundproof everything. That's what people think is, soundproofing. I got to put something on the wall. Like there's sound control is a big thing. That's why I was talking to you. I was like, we should prototype some shit for what I'm kind of trying to do. Where it's like I need something here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down. Something I can move out of the way. Because now that you see the spot that I'm talking about,
right,
I can create a little bit more room, but not much.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to create space for sure, and oftentimes it takes space to kind of achieve what you're going for. But no, there's some definite improvement that we could acquire or achieve. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that brings. Tone Vault. I've always wanted to do it, so
let's do it, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks for having.
Hell yeah, dude. You gonna come back on?
I don't see why not.
Well, have you back on like 3-4 months?
Sure.
A few times a year. I think that's what we should do. I think it'll be great. We'll because we got a lot to talk about, dude.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing how many people and little connections we got.
We could go another hour or two, but I know that you have a hard out in the next about 20-ish minutes. You need to get out of here. Plus, I think the dogs need to go outside and go to the bathroom. And
so do I.
And no one is home, so if I don't let them out, they're gonna...
I appreciate you having me.
They're going to claim me and mark me. Yeah, no problem, dude. It was a blast, man. Let's do this again, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, like, subscribe, share. You guys know what the fuck to do. Love you guys.